much. What a job you're doing. And it's a true honor to be with you today. This is a storied hall, if there ever was one. And based on the crowd, I think we broke the all-time record. But as we begin a proud new chapter in the chronicles of American justice, this really is something. We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals, and we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And you're the people that are doing it. Very, very proud of all of you. Under the Trump administration, the DOJ and the FBI will once again become the premier crime-fighting agencies on the face of the earth. People ask me, what am I going to do about law enforcement all the time? The fake news back there, they're asking me that all the time. What am I going to do? And when are you going to do it? And I answer them by saying I've already done most of it by appointing the people that I've appointed. They're sitting right here. They've done most of it. I don't do it, they do it. Right, Pam? I think, oh, you are so tough, they just don't know yet. Let me begin by congratulating the incredible people who will lead these historic reforms. And we start with somebody that you just saw, Pam Bondi. She's extraordinary, and I've known her very well for a long time. I watched her for a long time in Florida, for years in Florida, and highly experienced. She seems so young, but she's highly experienced, that I can tell you. She was a phenomenal attorney general in Florida, and she's going to do a really amazing job. Also, our new director of the FBI, Kash Patel. Kash, right. A man that I'm very proud of. I've known him and Emil for a long time under tremendous pressure. I saw these guys under some of the most corrupt judges it's not even imaginable how corrupt they were. And these guys never wilted. They were not shy. They fought, they weren't afraid, and they were brilliant. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and Principal Associate Deputy Attorney Emil Beauvais. And thank you both very much. Right. Great people. They're great people. The Chief of Staff, who's so highly respected, Chad Mizell. Thank you, Chad. Chad? Yeah. Thank you, Chad. Our next administrator of the DEA, Terry Cole. Terry? Thank you, Terry. Good luck. Going to do great. Senior counsel to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. Boy, I've been watching him on television last couple of weeks. He is really a tough one, and he's a great one. Leo Terrell, you watch how good he's going to be. He's going to be so good. Thank you, Leo. Great guy. Assistant Attorney General of the Antitrust Division, who's got an incredible reputation. She'll do very, very well. Gail Slater. Thank you, Gail. Good luck. Great job. And we're joined by many, many great friends and terrific friends, and I won't be able to, too many to name, but some that I just see very quickly. General Flynn, thank you for being here. Here's a man who went through hell, by the way, and he shouldn't have. He's a patriot. He went through hell. We're also pleased to be joined by Senator Chuck Grassley and House Majority Whip. Where's Chuck? Hi, Chuck. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Tom, great job you're doing. Representative Guy Reschenthaler, one of the toughest names to say, but I got it perfectly, I think. And State Attorney General Ken Paxton, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Somebody who was with us early on, and she's really become a big star and very popular, Brenna Bird. Thank you, Brenna. Thank you very much. Steve Marshall, Alan Wilson, James Othermeyer, Chris Carr, Dave Sunday, Marty Jackley, as well as White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, what a man Stephen is. Become a big star. Right, Emil? Steve Miller. Steve has been something very special. For generations, the Federal Department of Justice was one of America's most revered institutions. The men and women of the DOJ brought down the mafia, hunted down the killers, kingpins, and spies, tracked down terrorists and traitors, and tore down corrupt political machines all across America. This department commanded the respect and admiration of the entire world. And with Pam and Cash and all of the people I introduced and far more, big numbers, and all of you sitting back there, I recognize so many of you. But with you leading the way, it'll soon be the most admired and most respected of all. You're going to be more respected, and I really believe that there's also a lot of things to solve, a lot of problems to solve. But that's going to put you in the upper tier and maybe the top tier, and I believe that's going to happen. I'm so proud of the people in this room. But first, we must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls. Unfortunately, in recent years, a corrupt group of hacks and radicals within the ranks of the American government obliterated the trust and goodwill built up over generations. They weaponized the vast powers of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies to try and thwart the will of the American people. You remember the 51 intelligence agents that said, as an example, that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell came from Russia when they knew it came right from his bedroom. They knew that. It was a big lie, and they knew it so well. They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and supporters, raided my home, Mar-a-Lago, and did everything within their power to prevent me from becoming the President of the United States. With the help of radicals like Mark Elias, Mark Pomerantz, and these are people that nobody's ever seen anything like it. So many others, but these are people that are bad people, really bad people. They tried to turn America into a corrupt, communist, and third world country. But in the end, the thugs failed and the truth won. Freedom won, justice won, democracy won, and above all, the American people won. There could be no more heinous betrayal of American values than to use the law to terrorize the innocent and reward the wicked. And that's what they were doing at a level that's never been seen before. And it's exactly what you saw with Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and their cronies to do the building of the last 4 years. What they've ripped down is incalculable. But what you're going to build up is likewise something that will be breaking all sorts of records. They set loose violent criminals while targeting patriotic parents at school board meetings. They dropped charges against Antifa and Hamas supporters while labeling traditional Catholics as domestic terrorists. The Catholics, we did very well with the Catholic vote, so I want to thank them for that. They really did, record numbers. I would say, what's with the Catholics? They're really after the Catholics, so I don't know. They were after a lot of people. Maybe they didn't even know why. They imported illegal alien murderers, drug dealers, and child predators from all over the world to come into our country while putting elderly Christians and pro-life activists on trial for singing hymns and for saying prayers. They went to jail for that. Our predecessors turned this Department of Justice into the Department of Injustice. But I stand before you today to declare that those days are over, and they are never going to come back. They're never coming back. So now, as the chief law enforcement officer in our country, I will insist upon and demand full and complete accountability for the wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The American people have given us a mandate like few people thought possible. We won every single swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. We won districts, 2,750. Think of that, 2,750 districts compared to 505. So we want it at levels that have, I don't believe, ever seen before. That's the one where you see the map of the United States and it's all red. Red for Republican, not for communist, red for Republican. They would like it to turn red for communist, but it didn't work out that way. The American people have given us a mandate and really just a far-reaching investigation is what they are demanding into the corruption of our system. And that's exactly, I'm sure, what Pam and Cash and everyone else mentioned here and not mentioned is going to be doing. We will expel the rogue actors and corrupt forces from our government. We will expose and very much expose their egregious crimes and severe misconduct, of which was levels you've never seen anything like it. It's going to be legendary. It's going to also be legendary for the people that are able to seek it out and bring justice. We will restore the scales of justice in America, and we will ensure that such abuses never happen again in our country. And that's why on day one, I signed an executive order banning all government censorship and directing the removal of every bureaucrat who conspired to attack free speech and many other things and values in America. My administration stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We revoked the clearances of deranged Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, and the crooked law firms that aided their partisan persecutions. And I went through it. These are state and city courts, and the corruption is unbelievable. We also terminated the clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself. He didn't deserve it. In fact, he was essentially found guilty, but they said he was incompetent, and therefore, let's not find him guilty, I guess. Nobody knows what that ruling was, but I didn't want any part of it. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found with him. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Come on, man.
And therefore, he's let him go. I said, you know, I'd rather be convicted, Pam, I think, than that. That was not, I said, please convict me, don't say that. I pardoned hundreds of political prisoners who had been grossly mistreated. We removed the senior FBI officials who misdirected resources to send SWAT teams after grandmothers and J6 hostages. And it was a great honor for me to fire, I will tell you this, a great honor to fire James Comey. A great, great honor. That was nothing, there was no better day. A lot of people said, oh, that's too bad you did that. And they said, that's going to be, and you know what? A year later, they said, that actually saved the administration, because the level of corrupt things that we learned after that turned out to be that they were doing, in fact, really bad things. He was a terrible person, did terrible things, and persecuted people, and all in the guise of being an angel, but he wasn't an angel. We created a brand new DOJ task force and anti-Christian bias, and under Director Patel, we're getting the FBI agents out of the headquarters in Washington, D.C., and back on the streets in pursuit of dangerous criminals where they belong and where they want to be. And, you know, you have that big FBI building, and it's a very big building, and they were going to build an FBI headquarters 3 hours away in Maryland, a liberal state, but that has no bearing on what I'm about to say, but we're going to stop it. Not going to let that happen. We're going to build another big FBI building right where it is, which would have been the right place, because the FBI and the DOJ have to be near each other. You can't that's one thing I did learn from this persecution. The FBI and the DOJ work together. Now, in my case, they work together for bad purposes, but they do. They were always together. So how can you have one that's 3 hours away? But one thing I said to Cash, well, we're going to get a great building built. It's going to be a magnificent building. He said, sir, we don't need that kind of room. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm just going to take a old Department of Commerce building that's about 25% the size, and that's what I need. We're going to have the best staff that you've ever seen, and that's what I need. It's in a nice location, but I don't need that big building. Why don't you just sell the site to somebody, and we're going to be very happy. And they want to have far fewer people, but we also want to have them in D.C., and if for no other reason, we like having law enforcement walking the streets of our capital, because when the bad guys are out there and they see there's an FBI agent, that's the ultimate in law enforcement, and they're not going to be acting so bad. We're cleaning up our city. We're cleaning up this great capital, and we're not going to have crime, and we're not going to stand for crime. And we're going to take the graffiti down, and we're already taking the tents down, and we're working with the administration. And if the administration can't do the job, we're going to have to take it back and run it through the federal government. But we hope the administration is going to be able. So far, they've been doing very well. The mayor's been doing a good job. We said there are tents galore right opposite the State Department. They have to come down, and they took them down right away. And so far, so good. But we want to have a capital that can be the talk of the world. When Prime Minister Modi of India, when the President of France, and all of these people, the head of Prime Minister of United Kingdom, they all came to see me over the last week and a half. And when they come in, I had the route run. I didn't want to have them see tents. I didn't want to have them see graffiti. I didn't want to have them see broken barriers and potholes in the roads, and we had it looking beautiful. And we're going to do that for the city, and we're going to have a crime-free capital. When people come here, they're not going to be mugged or shot or raped. They're going to have a crime-free capital again. It's going to be cleaner and better and safer than it ever was, and it's not going to take us too long. There's a new phenomena that is taking place with these violent, vicious lawyers that we have all over. They play the ref. You know what playing the ref is? Like the great Bobby Knight basketball coach. He'd scream and scream at the ref. He'd scream. I watched it. By the way, I love Bobby Knight because he endorsed me. And having Bobby Knight's endorsement in Indiana was an extremely good thing. A friend of mine said I was running in Indiana at the time. This was early on, 2016. And I was doing great, but a friend came up and said, "You know Bobby Knight?" I said, "No, I don't, but I hear he was a tough cookie." He said, not only tough, he was beyond tough, but he's the most popular guy you can imagine. It turned out he wanted to endorse me. He called me about 2 years before. He said, "Sir, I'd like to endorse you." I said, "Is this really Bobby Knight?" He said, "It's me." I could tell it was Bobby Knight. He had been known for throwing the chair across the court and slapping a player. Can't do things like that, right? And the man that came in fired him. He was a new administrator for the college. That guy didn't last very long. They were like 14-0, and they fired Coach Knight. That was not good, but he had a little chip in his shoulder. But he loved Trump, and he came in, and he said, "I'd love to endorse you." He said, "If you ever run, please call me." So he said, "You know Bobby Knight?" I said, "Well, I don't know him," but he called me a couple of years ago. It was an amazing phenomenon. I took his number, and on each side of my desk in New York, I had stacks of paper, like nice and neat, but about 2 feet high each. And I said, I wrote his number down and I put it here 2 years ago. And I said, let me see if I can find it. It was almost like a miracle. I had other miracles that happened too. My ear is still throbbing. That was a miracle. That was a miracle also, wasn't it? That was a miracle also. Thank you. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. Thank you, my man. That was a miracle. Anyway, okay, that's it. That's very nice, thank you. But, so he said, Bobby Knight. So I said, I put his name down and I wrote it down. It's in one of these stacks. I lifted up. There would have to be 2,000 to 3,000 pages in each stack. I lifted it up, the first one, had no idea. And there was his name on a little card, Bobby Knight with his number. It was like incredible. I tell that story all the time. And I called him and dialed the number. He said, I've been waiting for you to call. And he went out and he made a speech for me in a packed arena in Indiana, and it was over. It was over. He was a tough guy. He actually went a little far, if you remember. He made a great speech because he was actually a motivational type guy, to put it mildly. But he left the stage, and then I'm talking, and he walks back onto the stage. I said, uh-oh, this is trouble. Why is he coming back? He was a big guy, too. Why is he coming back? He said, may I say a few more words? I said, yeah, go ahead, Bobby, say a few more words, a little different. And he said, and let me tell you something about this guy, Trump. This guy, if he has to, will use the nuclear weapons that we have. He will use he has no fear. He's going to use, and that's the kind of guy. And he walked off the stage. I said, I think I'm in big trouble, Pam. That was not good, but it worked out okay. In the meantime, we won the state in a landslide, and it was great. And it was just an amazing period of time. But this is the most amazing period of time. I think this is more amazing. What's taken place has been more amazing. I think it's more consequential. And if we do the job, one of the big media outlets said what we did was the most consequential election in the last 129 years. Well, if we do the job that we're all capable of doing, I think it's going to prove to be that and then some. And that's what we want to do. We have a real big shot at making this country so great, so great. What happened to our country was so sad. What they've done in 4 years to our country with the borders, with Afghanistan, the most embarrassing period of time, allowing the Russian situation, it was never going to happen with Ukraine. Allowing October 7th to happen would have never happened because under me, Iran was totally broke. They had no money. They weren't giving any money to Hamas or Hezbollah. It was totally broke. But allowing inflation, look at what inflation's done to people, been so devastating. And now you see that, by the way, price of eggs is down 35% in the last week and a half. We're doing a good job. Brooke is doing a good job. Brooke Rollins and everybody. And inflation's down, interest rates are down, gasoline has come down to a level that we haven't seen in a long time. All things that we wanted to do, because then everything else is going to be coming down. We want it to come down. We want bacon to come down, and groceries, a term I used to use. It's sort of an old-fashioned term, but I used to use it on the campaign trail, those last 90 perfect, beautiful days. We just hit it. And I want to thank Susie. You have done a great job. Susie Wiles. Great job, Susie. A big magazine just named her the most powerful woman in the world, and that's okay with me. She is the most powerful woman. You think about it, John, right? The most powerful woman in the world, but she's great. And we had a great 90 days. It was a perfect 90 days, and it was a great result. But we want to put that result to good use by doing a phenomenal job. And I want to tell you that Todd and Emil know this very well. We had an amazing judge in Florida, and her name is Eileen Cannon. And I didn't know her. I still don't know her. I don't believe I ever spoke to her, even during the trial. But I did appoint her, federal judge. And these fake lawyers, these horrible human beings, were hitting her so hard, public relations-wise. They were playing the ref. I don't think it's legal. I don't think it's legal. They might as well go out and just shout it in a courthouse. They were saying she was slow, she wasn't smart, she was totally biased, she loved Trump. I didn't know her, other than I saw her the couple of days that I was in court, and I thought her decorum was amazing. Anything bad they could say, though, they were saying about her, it was whatever they could say bad about a human being, all made up. Because actually she was brilliant, she moved quickly. She was the absolute model of what a judge should be. And she was strong and tough. And how do you get them to stop if you're a judge? How do you get them to stop with the playing the ref? Bobby Knight would play the ref. That's why I brought up the Bobby Knight story. He would play the ref. He'd scream at the ref. He'd scream so hard. Oh, boy, it was terrible, actually. And the people would come up, his assistant coaches would come up to players. Coach, don't do that. Don't do it. He said he's not going to change his tune, coach. He called it. He's not changing. I don't care. And he's screaming. That's when he threw the chair. He starts going crazy. And he said, no, he's not going to change this time, but he's going to change for the next play. And sure as hell he did. You know, Bobby, by the way, had the last undefeated team in basketball. And relatively speaking, you know, he had a team. He always had a team. He never had that. Well, he had a couple of great players, obviously, some top NBA players, but very few relatively. He had a team, but he won the national championship 3 times, but he had the last undefeated team in basketball. And he would play the ref, and he would scream at him. He knew exactly what he was doing. They're doing the same thing. He said, no, he's not going to change now, but he's going to change for the next one. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to scare the hell. They wanted to scare the hell out of the judges, and they do it. And how do you stop it if you're a judge? Because you want to go home, you have a family, you have children, and the New York Times will write whatever these people say, and the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal, and MSDNC, and the fake news CNN, and ABC, CBS, and NBC, and they'll write whatever they say. And what do you do to get rid of it? You convict Trump. All you have to do is be really tough on him and ultimately convict him, and they leave you alone. It's totally illegal what they do. I just hope you can all watch for it, but it's totally illegal. And it was so unfair what they were doing to her. But they do it all the time with judges. But in her case, she was very courageous, and it only made her angry. Wouldn't you say? It just made her angry. She didn't like it. A lot of them say, oh, please don't say that about me. My family, what's my husband going to say? What's my wife going to say, or my kids? Please don't say that. And it had absolutely no impact on her. And the case against me, which was a case, I will not use a bad word. I promised my wife I would never use a bad word, so just a little bad. The case against me was bullshit. And she correctly dismissed it. She correctly, look at Emil, he's looking, he said, that's interesting. But these two guys were warriors. You got a warrior here. You got two warriors, I can tell you that. You got a whole bunch of them. But, and they wouldn't quit. They wouldn't take no for an answer. They just wouldn't quit. These two people right up here, and some others that are involved with it indirectly. And what the lawyers do is they're doing it to the Supreme Court justices, hoping that they'll be overcome by the horrible things they say about them. They say things about Supreme Court justices and judges that are just horrible. They're playing the ref. Remember the way they treated Justice Thomas and Justice Alito and Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch. Chief Justice Roberts get treated unbelievably badly, and they're hoping that they can sway them to go along because, again, what do? They're humans. You know, like it would be wonderful if everybody was just a perfect computer machine, but they're not. They're humans, and they don't want to be accused of many, many things, including gross incompetence. They don't like it, and they don't want it. There's not much they can do about it. You know, they're in a position they can't really fight back really very well. And so what they do is sometimes they get weak. I would say a majority, maybe, of the times. That's why I'm so impressed with Judge Cannon in Florida, how strong she was, how she held up. It actually made her more resolute than anything I've seen. I mean, it was amazing because they were hitting her so hard. It was so sad to watch this. But it's sad what they do to other judges. It's very sad what they do to the Supreme Court. And a lot of the judges that I had, if you look at them, they take tremendous abuse in the New York Times and the Washington Post, all of the different networks. They take such abuse. And honestly, very simply, they're afraid of bad publicity. They don't want bad publicity. And it's truly interference, in my opinion, and it should be illegal, and it probably is illegal in some form. There's no difference than speaking to a judge or shouting to a judge or doing whatever you have to do in a courthouse. They're doing it behind the back. They're usually doing it anonymously. They're saying anonymously, off the record, the judge is no good, but everybody knows where it's coming from. And it's totally coordinated. It's a campaign, and it's by the same scum that you have been dealing with for years, like guys like Andrew Weissman, deranged Jack Smith. There's a guy named Norm Eisen. I don't even know what he looks like. His name is Norm Eisen of Crew. He's been after me for 9 years. Now, Crew is a charitable organization. And the reason I'm saying this, Todd, is I'm only going to get one chance to say this. But these are bad people. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he looks like. But everything I read is Norm Eisen of Crew. And Crew is a charitable organization. And that's a political thing. His sole life is to get Donald Trump. And he's been vicious and violent. and he's trying, and he probably had pretty good success over the years. But with me, how did he do? I think I'm president. Am I here because I'm president? But we had to take all of that abuse, even during the trials, we had to take tremendous abuse. Like, you know, these wonderful guys, they're not legitimate people. They're horrible people. They're scum. And you have to know that. And you're going to have these cases where you can't allow yourselves to be deflected. You just can't let it happen. You have such a higher calling. And I believe that CNN and MSDNC, who literally write 97.6% bad about me, are political arms of the Democrat Party. And in my opinion, they're really corrupt and they're illegal. What they do is illegal. It makes no difference how big a victory I had. I can have the biggest victory in history. It makes no difference what kind of a failure the other side has. These people are going to go after me. And I said it during the other night, during the big speech on Tuesday night. I said about Democrats, and I don't like that. I have great respect, by the way, for what Schumer did today. He went out and he said that I'm going to have to vote with the Republicans because it's the right thing to do. I couldn't believe what I heard. But, you know, I think he's going to get some credit for it. I think, let's see what happens tonight with the big vote as it comes. But these networks and these newspapers are really no different than a highly paid political operative. And it has to stop. It has to be illegal. It's influencing judges, and it's really changing law, and it just cannot be legal. I don't believe it's legal. And they do it in total coordination with each other. And everything we do, we're restoring law, restoring order, and restoring public safety in America. That's what we want to do. And we're bringing honor and integrity and accountability back to the highest levels of the FBI, DOJ, and throughout our government. We're bringing our country back faster than anyone ever thought possible. We're working so hard at doing it, and we want fairness in the courts. The courts are a big factor. The elections, which were totally rigged, are a big factor. We have to have honest elections. We have to have borders, and we have to have courts and law that's fair. Well, we're not going to have a country. Crooked Joe Biden got us into a real mess with Russia and everything else he did, frankly, but he didn't know about it, and he, generally speaking, signed it with auto pen, so how would he know? That auto pen is a big deal. I don't know, you know, they're having, who's doing this? So when my people come up, Will and all of the people, Steve, they come up and, sir, this is an executive order. They explain it to me, and, you know, 90% of the time I sign it, 99% of the time I say do it. But they come up and I sign it. But you don't use auto pen. It's, number one, it's disrespectful to the office. Number two, maybe it's not even valid because, you know, who's getting him to sign? He had no idea what the hell he was doing. If he did, all of these bad things wouldn't be happening right now. But we're going to get you back into a great position, and we've already started. They say that we had the most successful first month of presidency. It's not a long time, but it's still a lot. It's like if you're a golfer, sinking a 3-foot putt on the first hole gives you confidence to sink something on the second hole. But if you miss that first putt, you don't like to have the putt on the second hole and the third hole. It could be a very bad experience. It's nice to get that first month, and now we have more than a month. Now we have a month and a half, and it's going really, really well. I can tell you as a little secret, although the cameras are blazing back there, so it's not that much. But I think we're doing well, as you have been hearing about Ukraine. I think we're doing now well with Russia. We're speaking with President Putin. We want to get the war over. Not only have we spent maybe $350 billion to Europe, think of that, $350 billion to $100 billion, and yet we're across the ocean far away, so it shouldn't have been that way, but Biden let that happen too. And we're getting a deal where we're going to get that back, but much more importantly are the lives that we're talking about. On average, 2,000 young people are being killed every single day. Now, they're not from here. They're from nowhere close to here, but they're young people. They're human beings, and they have parents. They have sisters and brothers, the mothers and fathers, the friends and the families and the towns where they grew up. And they're losing, on average, 2,000, even 2,500 a week. and I want to get it stopped. And we've had some very good calls today with Russia and with Ukraine. They've agreed for a ceasefire if we can get it with Russia, and it's not easy. It's a tough one, but I think we're doing it. And as the Secretary General said yesterday of NATO, a terrific guy, he said without Trump, we wouldn't be talking about it. It would just go on for years, and millions of people have been killed, but millions more people would be killed. And he said it was a great honor. Without me, it would just keep going on. We're looking for the ceasefire now with Russia, and we've had some very good talks about it. We've had some very good responses. And I can tell you that there was a case where there would have been no war if I were president, and it's just 100% would not have happened, would never have happened. I used to speak to President Putin a lot about it. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. I won't tell you what the consequence was. I won't tell you what he said. But if he believed even 5% of what I said, then he would say, I'm not going to do it. And I think he did. But we had a good relationship, and we had a professional relationship, and his respect for this country. And I think we've had some very good results. So, you know, I haven't been able to say that to anybody else. I haven't wanted to say it until just before I came here. I got some pretty good news. So, but we have to see what happens. It's still a long way to go. The fighting is unbelievable. Russia has a large group of Ukrainian soldiers, as we speak, surrounded and in grave danger. They've been able to surround them. They're in grave danger. Biden should have never let this war happen. First of all, you don't want to pick on somebody that's a lot larger than you, even with the money. There's a lot of money that we gave them and a lot of equipment. We make the best military equipment in the world, but even with all of that, it's unbelievable. Right now, you have a lot of Ukrainian soldiers that are encircled and in grave danger, and I've asked them not to kill those soldiers, please, not to kill those soldiers. We don't want them killed. It's such a shame to see what's happened. A thing like that would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Israel, Iran had no money. They were totally broke. Think of it. They had no money to give to anybody. They were totally broke. And within a short period of time, as soon as Biden came in, he took out all the sanctions. And China and everybody else that wasn't buying oil from Iran was buying it at levels that they never spent before. And it was a sad thing. And if you look at Afghanistan, that was probably what got Putin started, because when he looked at how horribly we looked, I think the most embarrassing day, not that we got out because we were getting out. I would have been out faster than them. I was the one that got it down to the right level. But we would have kept Bagram, the big Air Force base. We would have kept it. Right now, China occupies Bagram. And the reason we would have kept it is because they were 1 hour away from where China has and builds its nuclear missiles and weapons. And they gave that up. At the dark of night, they left the lights on, and they left the dogs behind, by the way. A lot of people say, what about all the dogs? They had a lot of dogs, and they left the dogs behind. And what a shame, what a shame. The way we got out, I think it was the most humiliating time in the history of our country. The way it happened, not that we were getting out, because we wanted to get out, but we would have gotten out with dignity and strength. And what a difference a rigged and crooked election had on our country when you think about it. And the people who did this to us should go to jail. They should go to jail. So I just want to say God bless America, because we have to say God bless. We're lucky we're still here, frankly. And this whole thing could lead, I think we have it. But this could lead to World War III very easily. Could very easily lead to World War III, but I think we're in pretty good shape, a lot better than we were before we got involved, that I can tell you. That was heading into World War III territory, and that would have been a war like no other because of nuclear weapons and other types of weapons that people you don't even want to know about. But as many of you do know, well, we're focused on persecuting, and these people were really focused on persecuting Republicans. The last administration presided over the worst increase in violent crime in our country in many, many decades. We had levels of violence and crime, and a lot of it had to do with the illegal immigrants that came in. Remember when I used to complain about it? Because I knew how tough they were, how mean they were. And they said, no, no, people that come into our country are all wonderful people. No, they're not wonderful. These are stone cold killers. These are killers like, they make our killers look nice by comparison. They make our killers look nice. These are rough, tough people with the tattoos all over their face. Historically speaking, I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but historically speaking, they're not going to be the head of any major bank that we know of. These are rough people. These are rough, rough killer people, and they allowed them in by the millions. In major cities like New York, Chicago, and Washington, mothers can't walk their children to the park without fear of being shot or killed or raped or anything. Women can't ride the subway without worrying that a hoodlum will shove them onto the train tracks. In New York, it's happened twice in the last couple of weeks. They're standing there, perfect Wall Street gentleman in one case, and another person who was a worker, good worker, electrician, gets pushed into a train going 45 miles an hour just prior to the train, not stopping, going to go through that. I know the stations very well. I used to take the subway. I used to feel safe. When I was young, I'd go to my parents would drop me off at the subway. I'd take the subway to my school. Can you believe it? Today, they wouldn't be doing that. And we want to get a country back maybe where you can do that again, Pam. But it's so sad to see what's taking place. Under the Biden regime, average monthly homicides increased by 14%. Property crime rose tremendously. Violent crime went up at least 37% that they know of. Rape soared by 42%. Car theft rose by 48%. And robberies surged to 63 to 100%. They don't even know what the number is. And I have no higher mission as President of the United States than to end this killing and stop this law-breaking and to making America safe again. And that's what you're all about in this room. We want to protect Americans, and we protect everybody that's in our country, American or not American. We want to have a safe and proud country. We're joined today by dozens of police officers, sheriffs and sheriff's deputies from all across the country. My message to these law enforcement heroes is simple. With me in the White House, you once again have a president who will always have your back, will always have your back. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. That's a lot of good-looking people. I will tell you, I feel safe. I'm glad you're in the room. I feel even safer. It's a lot of great people. On day one, I signed an executive order directing Attorney General to ensure that anyone who murders a police officer immediately, with as fast a trial as we can have, gets the death penalty. And last month, I fired all the radical left pro-crime U.S. attorneys appointed by Joe Biden. There were so many that were bad, and I know there were some that were probably very good, but there were so many that were so bad and so evil, so corrupt. Instead of having Marxist prosecutors who want to put police officers in handcuffs and go after a police officer rather than a criminal, I appointed patriotic, tough-on-crime warriors who will partner with police to put dangerous offenders behind bars, put them in jail. We're fully reviving 1033 program to provide state and local law enforcement with surplus military equipment, that we have so much of it. I did it in my last administration, and I remember Obama wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it before me, would not do it, because he thought it made them look too strong, too military. I said, no, that's what I want them to look like. I want them to look strong. And it was protective, defensive equipment. We had billions of dollars. I gave it out, and now I'm going to have a chance to give it out again. They didn't want to do it with Biden, and Biden didn't know why. I didn't, if they would have asked him, he wouldn't have been able to answer the question. He could never answer a question. They said my press conference yesterday was longer than all of Biden's press conferences put together for the last 4 years. And I don't know if that's true, but it was close. And perhaps most importantly, we're securing our border and repelling the invasion of America. We have, you see the numbers have come down. So, and Tom Homan and Christie were have been incredible. Kristi Noem, Secretary, she's done great, and Tom Homan is, I don't know if Tom Homan's here, but wherever he may be, I think he's chasing people out of our country. If he was here, I'd almost be disappointed. What are you doing, Tom? But he's a fantastic guy, and he's a brave guy. Over the past 4 years, other countries emptied out their prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums, and sent the killers, drug smugglers, and bloodthirsty inmates from the filthiest dungeons of the world straight into the USA. And open border. We had an open border policy. Anybody could come in, no matter what you were, no matter where you came from, no matter what you looked like, no matter what you were doing, no matter what you did, no matter how many people you murdered, you could come right into our country. We have murderers right now walking the streets. We're joined today by Tammy Nobles, whose 20-year-old daughter, Kayla, was attacked in her home 3 years ago, horrifically assaulted and strangled to death by an illegal alien MS-13 monster set loose into our country under the open border Biden regime. Kayla was one of countless American victims ripped away from their families by the open border policies of that administration. And we're also joined by Kayla's stepfather, Jeremiah, and several other courageous angel families here today. And I'd love you to all just stand up and take a bow, because you are incredible people. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I want you to know that we are working every day to expel these savages from our country and ensure that what happened to your loved ones will never happen again. So their legacy is going to be a great one. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. On day one of my administration, I declared a national emergency on our southern border. In our first full month in office, we achieved the lowest level of illegal border crossings ever recorded, okay? Even lower than 4 years ago. For years, Democrats and the media kept saying that we needed new legislation. We had to have new legislation. We needed it immediately, and I never had legislation, and I had the best border in the history of our country for almost 4 years. And by the time I got out, we had the lowest numbers ever. My favorite chart of all time was brought down that day, and on that chart said we had the lowest numbers ever. But it turned out that we really didn't need new legislation. All you needed was a new president. And I said that the other night. That's all you needed was a new president saying, close the borders, because the Border Patrol is unbelievable, ICE is unbelievable, and all of our law enforcement is just incredible. All of you guys are amazing, and the people of our country respect you and they love you. And a lot of times you don't hear that because you have to listen to the fake news back there, but they have great respect for you. So I just want you to know that. And you know, that includes our fire departments too. They don't get spoken about enough. You know, they go into some of the areas I read where they're shooting them off ladders. Can you believe it? They go up to put out a fire, Leo, and they go and they shoot them off a ladder. It's just unbelievable. These firemen and women are incredible. So I want to put them in the same category because they're just incredible. I also like that the fact they voted for me like at 94%. So I have to mention them. I have no choice, right? But the truth is they're phenomenal people. The law enforcement, fire, everybody, they're phenomenal. Basically first responders, because that's what they are. They're first responders. And we're ending the migrant occupation of America. And what we're doing now is we're liberating our cities and our suburbs and our towns. And you see a big difference. I'm getting calls all the time from even leaders of other countries saying, sir, the whole world feels liberated now. It feels like there's a light over America, but there's a light over the whole world. I hear that so much. It's so nice to hear, too. And I feel it. I mean, I feel it. I look at it. I see the polls. I don't know if the polls are right, but they're certainly very good. I'll take them right now. It's amazing what's taken place in such a short period of time, really 6 weeks, but it's longer than that. It's really November 5th. I think that hopefully will go down, if you do your job great, it'll go down as the most important day, one of them at least in the history of our country. You know, July 4th was pretty, 1776, it was pretty important too. But let's see if we can top it. Can we top it? I don't know. That's a tough one, but we're going to try. But it will be one of the most important days in the history of our country. So I think, and I think everybody in this room wants that to happen. Last month, we officially designated MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. That's a big deal. Nobody wanted to do that in the past. And by the way, we've caught hundreds of them, the Venezuelan gang, which is as bad as it gets. And you'll be reading a lot of stories tomorrow about what we've done with them. And you'll be very impressed, and you'll feel a lot safer, too, because they are a vicious group. They went into Colorado. They took over areas of Colorado. They sort of were like me. They were in the real estate business, but they didn't go out and get financing. They just took over a building and kept it. And they said to the tenants, get the hell out of here. One man called the police, and they cut off his fingers. And they say, you call again, your other fingers, and you call a third time, and you're dead. These are tough people and bad people, and we're getting them out of our country. And some are so bad, we don't want to get them out. We have to put them in jail because we don't want to even take a chance that they can come back. Thanks to our efforts, Mexico recently handed over 29 of the biggest cartel leaders, including the depraved kingpin charged with the 1985 murder of DE agent Kiki Camarena. And that was a big deal, if you know. They've been looking for this person for years, many years, and we got him. This evil killer will be now prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and we know that, well, let's put it this way, I have to be nice, it's a very strong case. We're stopping the criminals pouring across our borders at record levels, and we're also stopping the massive quantities of deadly drugs. In 2023 alone, drug overdoses killed more Americans in 12 months than they did during the entire decade between 1980 and 1990, so 10 times more, but it's much higher than that. More Americans died from fentanyl last year than died in the Korean War, or the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, all of them combined. That's why I've placed large tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, and they will remain in place until these deadly poisons stop pouring into our country. And I will tell you, as soon as I put on the tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, unbelievable results have been seen in the last few weeks. Unbelievable results. They weren't happy about it. You probably read they weren't happy, but they are working like hell to end it. They weren't working very hard before I did that. With us today is a brave mother and advocate, Ann Fundner, who lost her beautiful 15-year-old son, Weston, to fentanyl. And Ann, if you would, I'd like to ask you to come up and say a few words, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to say thank you. I think this is the biggest honor of my entire life, being on stage with President Trump. But I want to tell you a little bit about my son, Weston, who absolutely loved President Trump. He had a beautiful Trump 2020 flag hanging in his bedroom, and he had it on the beach one day, and we took a picture, and it became our 2020 Christmas card with the most perfect slogan for President Trump, peace on earth. What would happen in the next 4 years would be devastational to our country and our safety of our children. And in 2022, Weston lost his life, a freshman in high school at the age of 15, from a single pill that took his life. The cartels were allowed to operate on American soil and took hundreds of thousands of American lives. And so we knew there was only one person that could save us from the devastation on our American soil, and that was President Trump. And so in 2024, we did the best thing that we could do to keep America safe again, and we elected President Donald J. Trump. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And he's done everything that he has promised. We have a 98% decrease in border crossings. And he has labeled the terrorist cartels terrorist organizations. And he has instilled tariffs because there is no price on human life. And so I feel like I can speak for the entire fentanyl fighting community when I say thank you to President Trump, and thank you to Pam Bondi and everyone out here who is fighting this fight. God bless you. God bless you, President Trump. And God bless America. Thank you.
He's up watching you. He's up there watching you. And he's so proud of Mom. Thank you, Ann, very much. Weston is, I just said to Ann, Weston is up in heaven watching his mom, and he's so proud of you. He's so proud of you. Thank you. We're also joined today by a number of other American families who have lost loved ones to fentanyl, and I'd love you to just stand up for a second, and we want to acknowledge you, and also your daughters, your sons. They're looking down on you, and they're loving you like crazy. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This department will not rest until we have ended the fentanyl epidemic in America once and for all. In less than 2 months since I took office, the DEA and FBI have seized nearly 1 million deadly doses of fentanyl, and that's just the beginning. At my direction and working with Pam and everybody else, we've launched an all-out war on fentanyl traffickers, and it's a war that we're going to win. We're going to win this war. I spoke with the president of Mexico, very nice woman, very fine woman, and I said, let me ask you, you're sending a lot of drugs into our country. We're not liking it at all. Can't do that. But I said, is Mexico, does it have much of a drug? She said, no, we're not a consuming nation. I thought it was an interesting term. And I said, why? And which I've heard also, by the way, they're not a consuming nation. They distribute, but they don't consume. But I said, why are you not a consumer? Well, we're very close with family. I said, so we're very close with family, too. I mean, our families are being devastated, and we're just as close. Why else? She said, well, we spend a lot of money on advertising saying how bad drugs are. They're very rough ads. They show the skin falling off and the teeth falling out and going blind and losing hair and everything that these things do. You look like you just came out of a horrible concentration camp. And she said it was, they're rough ads. And it's not often that I feel I've learned something from a phone call, because I've had a lot of phone calls over my life. But I realized right then and there what a great idea that is. And we have hired Susie, a great person, who did a lot of our campaign work, and we've come up with an advertising campaign that's, I think, really incredible. More than anything else, it's terrible to watch. Terrible to watch. It's the only way it's going to work. And I would be, because we got the numbers down, 18% would have a blue ribbon committee headed by the First Lady of the United States, who everyone loves, and some of her friends. And, you know, they work so hard, but it's a tough deal. They're dealing with very smart and very vicious people. You know, some of those businesses, those cartels, are run better than any business in America. They say they're run incredibly, not just here. They all over the world. They're run like a major business, but in many cases better. And I said, we got it 18% down. Well, 18% is incredible. It's like a record. But when you think of it, it's not very much. And the way you get it down, if you want to get it down to close to 100%, is with the death penalty. But I think maybe America is not ready for that. China has a death penalty. Singapore has a death penalty. Various places have the death penalty. Wherever you have the death penalty, you don't have drugs. But I just don't know if this country is ready for it. So I tell people, and it's always an option, but I don't know. I just don't know if you're ready for it, and that's okay. It's nothing you can do. But what we're going to do is we're doing this campaign And I think we can get it down 50% with this campaign, because when people see all the horrible things that these drugs do to you, we're especially focused on fentanyl. When they see all of the horrible things that happen when you take drugs, how you look, you lose your look. Everyone's vain. They don't want to lose their look. The look is so important. And I think when they see these things, they may say, you know what, I'm going to take a pass. But there is big danger. Pam and I were talking about it before. A lot of people are taking fentanyl and not even knowing. They think they're doing something else, or maybe taking another drug, but at a much lower level. And they die. You can put on the pin, think of this, the head of a pin, fentanyl, and it's too much, and it will kill the strongest person in the room. And it's amazing. But we're going to do this campaign. It's going to be launched fairly soon, Susie. And I think it's going to have a big impact. I think if we got it down by another 30, 35 points, and I really believe we can, I think that's an incredible idea. So I thank the president of Mexico, actually. It was a call on tariffs, and we talked about drugs. And she gave me an idea that I think will be very successful, and based on what I saw, it's going to be amazing. Under our leadership, this department is once again laser focused on protecting the American people. We're defending our borders, our streets, our children, and our good, really God-given, this is God-given rights and liberties once and for all. We're going to defend our country, and we're going to defend our rights. Etched onto the walls of this building are the words English philosopher John Locke said, "Where law ends, tyranny begins." And I see that, and I saw it over the last 4 years when somebody was allowed to attack viciously with this department and the FBI. His political opponent, how did that work out? Didn't work out too well, but it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. I was attacked by a political opponent, and probably it helped that I was attacked more than anybody in the history of our country. Alphonse Capone, the great Alphonse Capone, legendary, Scarface, was attacked only a tiny fraction of what Trump was attacked. And maybe it worked out well, I don't know. If I had to give it up, I probably wouldn't, but only because I've gone through it. But I wonder what the difference would be. Maybe they helped get me elected by those margins, the big mandate that we received. But you can't go after your political opponent. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, actually. And hopefully they won't see anything like it. But now, with the return of law and order, the entire world is witnessing the triumph of American justice and American freedom. That's why we're here today, gathered with people that have love for our country. In the coming years, we will revive the storied legacy of this department, and it's happening right now. You can feel it. And rekindle the spirit of the great lawmen and legal lions of the past, Americans like Wyatt Earp, Elliot Ness, Frank Hammer, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani had to suffer greatly, greatly. The greatest mayor in the history of our country had to suffer greatly. Ed Meese, Antonin Scalia, Robert Jackson, and Robert F. Kennedy. We will rebuild pride in our institutions. We will restore the prestige of this great department, and we will bring back faith in our justice system for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And I want to just tell you that this has been a great honor. I was asked to do it, and I said, is it appropriate that I do it? And then I realized it's not only appropriate, I think it's really important. And I may never do it again. I may never have another chance to do it again, because this is something that I'm leaving to the greatest people I know, the best people, the smartest people, the toughest people I know. And they're going to do an incredible job. And it's an honor for me to have won this election so that I can appoint these people to do their job, and they're going to do it like you have never seen. So I just want to wish all of you good luck. It's going to be an interesting journey. Not going to be easy, but you're going to win. You're going to win, 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 and fight, fight, fight. And it's going to end up being a tremendous result for this country. So thank you all very much. God bless America. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, there you hooligans have it. President Trump speaking to the DOJ. Out here getting it. Now, I think this is the last live we're going to see from President Trump today. I mean, I can only assume. According to his schedule, I'm pretty sure this is it. Either way, we're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we'll go ahead and get things started. First off, happy freedom, all of you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being here for Friday's Coffee with Hooligans. I didn't realize President Trump was going to be live until I was setting everything up, and I got the schedule ready right when he walked out on stage, so we are good to go. There's Pam Bondi there. People are not really impressed with Pam Bondi right now after she pulled that publicity stunt. Either way, like I said, we're going to read through the schedule really quick. Let me get this all cleaned up here. Bam, there we go. We're going to be starting out with a video titled Happy Pie Day. I didn't even know that's what today was until Russell posted it in the chat over on the website. It's titled Happy Pie Day. Restaurants in Southwest Florida are celebrating by bringing you deals. Now, I've never heard of this, but maybe this is happening where you live. Apparently, bakeries and pizza places will do deals on Pie Day. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, Wesco's doing a deal right now. They're doing whole pizzas for $3. I went and got one earlier because I couldn't say no to that. So I got a half a pizza sitting in the fridge right now waiting on me. But yes, today is Pie Day. Then we got video titled 12 Hurt After American Airlines Plane Catches Fire in Denver Airport. I don't know what's going on with the planes. Not doing well. Not doing well. It's been a long path of planes falling apart. Then we got video titled Alabama Farmers Impacted by a Canceled USDA Program. This is talking about how some of these federal cuts that have been going on, they're now impacting farmers in a negative way. Now, I don't know if it's only specific farmers, but it seems to be ones that are connected to the USDA, which does not seem like a good deal. On top of that, everyone in the comments is laughing about it, saying, well, you voted for this. And like I said, I don't know exactly what all farmers are affected by this, but we're going to figure it out. Then we got a follow-up video titled Levitt Says Admin Will Fight Back After Judge Orders Reinstatement of Workers. This is a follow-up from yesterday's video. Yesterday we covered that a judge had tried to reverse President Trump's orders to fire probationary federal workers, like thousands of people. And a lot of those people don't even have a department to go back to because the entire department was done away with. And so the judge is saying they need to be hired back. But Caroline Levitt did a parking lot presser today, which I don't know what she has against doing an official press briefing. But she did a parking lot presser today. And in it, she speaks about a plethora of topics, including fighting back against the judge's orders to reinstate those workers. Then we got Carrie Lake video titled Just Saved American Taxpayers $53 Million Doll Hairs. She's the senior advisor to U.S. Agency of Global Media. She's going to be talking about mass deportations, the Department of Education, and how she's canceled fake news that we were spending a bunch of money on. Then we got a video titled Columbia University Dorm Rooms Searched by the DHS. Apparently they have arrested another pro-Hamas protester. They are not providing a lot of information on it, so I don't know if it's another green card holder or what the situation is. And Columbia University is also trying to play ball with President Trump's orders of how he wants things done. Now, we've watched Columbia University over the last year or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, since last school season, not only allow their students to participate in pro-Hamas protests, rallies, and encampments, but we've also seen the professors from that school participate in those shenanigans. And now the school is trying to turn over a new leaf, because if they don't, they're going to lose their federal funding. So now they're participating, and they're even expelling students and stuff like that, suspending them, expelling them based on their participation in these pro-Hamas rallies. Then we got a video titled Waterbury Woman Accused of Holding Malnourished Stepson Captive for 20 Years. Now, it's actually 21 years. There's a mother, a father, and like two sisters that all knew that this stepson was being locked in this upstairs room for 21 years. It started when he was 11, and he's 32 now. 32. 21 years being locked upstairs. They said he only weighs like 60 pounds. He's 5'9" and only weighs 60 pounds. It is a very crazy story. Then the last little bit of the news is titled Scott Jennings making CNN reporter eat her words. Then we'll be getting into the fun stuff. We'll be opening today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. And then we have 2 funny videos of the day. First one's titled Watch Out. And our official funny video of the day is titled Good Salesmanship. Now, since we covered President Trump, there's too many of you hooligans in the chat for me to read through. So we're just going to go ahead and get into things. Like I said, we're going to be starting off with Happy Pie Day. Restaurants in Southwest Florida are celebrating by bringing you deals. Come on, thing. YouTube is still with the buffer and shit. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they're racist against Brave Browser or what the deal is, but, you know, whatever. Anyways, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, we have these epic winning t-shirts. Now, I was planning on coming out with a new design today, but we still have some changes being made to the new design. I can't wait to reveal it to you guys. But until then, like I said, we have these epic winning t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his link in all of the chats for you hooligans to have your opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags, and we even made tumblers out of this design. Today I got on the Plain Jane Hooligan t-shirt. We got lots of items and lots of designs over on the merch store. I'll be dropping all the links in the chats while we're watching this first video.
Okay, 8:17 right now. It is Pi Day, so we are celebrating the mathematical constant, right? The number 3.14 that keeps going on and on and on. But we're also celebrating other pies too, you know, like apple pie, pizza pie. There are several local restaurants, chain restaurants as well, with tons of deals today. One of those spots is in Bonita Springs, so I want to go check in with community correspondent Domingo Murray. She works in Bonita Springs every day, so she knows where to get the pizza, right?
Yes, Amy, I do know where to find the pizza. I'm here at Zoe's Pizza today, and it's in the rooftop at Riverside. It's a food truck park right in the heart of downtown Bonita Springs, and they have some deals going on here today. You can actually get 2 pizzas and then a free dessert, so that's exciting. And I'm joined this morning by Doug Lester. He is the father of Zoe, the owner of this truck. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us so early. I appreciate it. Tell me, what all goes into making the expert pizza?
So our gluten-free pizza, which is everything we do, we make our fresh dough each day. It's really good. We import the flour from Italy, and you won't find gluten-free pizzas that actually taste like real pizza. So that's one of our specialties. Today we're doing a classic margarita, fresh mozzarella, tomato, basil. Can't go better.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great way to stand apart. I understand that it's wonderful to have gluten-free options here in Bonita Springs, so that's great. So let's get started.
You bet.
Okay.
Fresh mozzarella. Don't be shy.
He's making me the pro here. How much?
Don't go. Be afraid to put too much.
Oh,
in.
there's no way to have too much. Got it. Okay.
That'd be great. And then some fresh tomatoes, and we are banging, ready to go in the oven.
Oh, perfect. Well, Doug, again, thank you for having us this morning. And again, as Amy mentioned, there are places all across Southwest Florida where you can get good deals for Pi Day. And so I'm going to send it back to the studio, and she's going to run you through that list. But for now, live in Bonita Springs, Domingo Murray, Fox 4.
Who doesn't love a great deal, right? So today, some of the restaurants that you can get some deals at: Marco's Pizza giving away a medium 1-topping pizza for $3.14. That's with the purchase of a large pizza. 7-Eleven has a lot of deals for $3.14. You can get a whole pizza there for $3.14 as well. Papa John's reward members can buy a large or extra large, get the second one for $3.14. And then you can get a free slice of pie with any entree purchase at Perkins today. You do have to show a coupon for that. When I remember vividly when I was in school having to memorize like the first 10 or 15 numbers of pie.
So when I put on the schedule that they were celebrating Pie Day, I didn't know every single hooligan was going to go straight to fur pie. I didn't even think that when I was reading the schedule. I'm sitting there reading through the chat, shaking my head. Because everyone's like, fur pie? No, not that. That's not what we're talking about. That's an everyday occurrence. Anyways, next up, Jesus loves us. 12 hurt after American airline plane catches fire at Denver airport because we don't have enough problems with airplanes and all of that. Now, at least nobody died and it didn't crash. It didn't hit another plane. It didn't flip upside down. The door didn't open mid-flight. There wasn't paneling that flew off while they were in the sky. It just caught on fire this time. That's how this is going. But we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Pi Day, even though I already got a little glimpse of it. Half this shit I'm not going to be able to read out loud. I already know. I already know. J Spray, a pie diver. Very nice. Only on the weekends. Let's see. Get some pie perverts. Yeah. Yeah, see? I didn't know. You heal the pie plug. See? I didn't even know. I was all excited. I was like, I didn't know they were doing deals on pie. You telling me the hookers are half off today? My goodness. Not one comment I can read out loud. Snooks, I bought 3 Tombstone pizzas at my store yesterday for only $12. 4 meats. Yummy. That's a good deal, Snooks. $4 a pizza ain't bad. Musky Boss, I'm doing this wrong. Nah, you're doing it. You're straightforward like I am. I appreciate it. Get some cream pies? No, it's not. You guys, it's not that kind of day. Everyone's at the strip club all disappointed because they thought they were getting a deal. Hard life. Non-woke, I prefer Twinkie Day. You only have to count to 2. When is Twinkie Day? I don't even know anything about that. I haven't heard that yet. Ghostly, the pie hole. Cobalt, pizza for free, pizza for me. I don't know where they're giving away free pizza, but yeah, it's hard to turn down free pizza. That's how they got all the protesters, because they kept bringing riot pizza every time they would go protest. And everyone's like, man, there's a lot of people in the streets. Yeah, people like riot pizza. They do. They always will. Ghostly, she couldn't even get the definition right. She was struggling. And she had that shitty microphone that was all blown out every time she tried to talk in it. And I was just shaking my head in shame. I delivered pizza for 6 years. I've been a cook. I've been a line lead. I've been the driver. I mean, I've taken the damn orders. I know a lot about making pizza. And watch her over here doing this little goofy shit while making the pizza is very frustrating. Nobody wants a pizza that's been fingered and stuff like that. That's not how you make pizza. Cobalt. That's all I remember. I didn't even know what the number was. Like I said, I didn't even realize that's what today was until Russell posted it in the chat. We're blaming Russell today for it being Pi Day. It's his fault. I'm just putting the blame right on him. WC, free pie for Jeff? No, not yet. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I ain't got free pie yet. Space Baby, now I want pie. Cobalt muff pie? See, and it's real expensive. It's real expensive if you got to pay for it. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy freedom to you. Is who on a green screen? President Trump? I'm not on green screen. This is a real tapestry behind me. I can't reach it, but it's there. That's what she said. What's up, Find It, Fix It? Happy freedom to you. Man, calzone. Yeah. I don't know if they count as part of Pie Day, but calzones are badass. Devin, White Supreme Pizza Day? I guess it is. It's White Supreme Pizza Pie Day. I didn't realize till you brought it up. You think Elon's going to be saluting today, or? What's up, Cinderella? Happy freedom. April 6th is Twinkie Day. April 1st is 3 years that cyber criminals have been attacking me every single day. Thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. Little Ripper, like a good hair pie. Mm-hmm. Devin, it's hand tossed. Yeah. What's up, Tony Rich? Happy freedom to you. All right, you dirty little hooligans. Get on to this next one. It's titled 12 Hurt After American Airline Plane Crash, or plane, no, I'm making it worse. American Airlines plane catches fire at Denver airport. It didn't crash. I just made that up. Shit. Now we gotta wait a long time for YouTube to get their shit together. Oh, there we go. Good job, guys. I don't know what's causing that. Stupid problems. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as over on the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Terrifying moment after an American Airlines plane landed in Colorado last night.
The flight had been diverted to the Denver International Airport, and then after landing, flames started pouring out from the engine. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has a story.
This morning, yet another dramatic scene at a U.S. airport.
Oh my gosh.
An American Airlines plane bursting into flames after landing in Denver. Passengers climbing onto the wing as smoke surrounded the plane.
It is a little disturbing to see almost maybe 50 or 70 people standing on that wing.
Alexandria Cullen shared this video after she says her mother escaped the burning plane. Passengers running through smoke and haze.
We saw probably a couple dozen people coming down the slide and running away. It was pretty scary.
This was a very thick black smoke. Even in all the times that I've been flying, I've never seen anything like that.
The Boeing 737 was headed to Dallas, but was diverted shortly after leaving Colorado Springs when the crew reported engine vibrations.
We just have a high engine vibration, so we are cruising slower than normal for American 10,006.
The plane touching down safely in Denver, but the engine caught fire as the plane was taxiing.
Mayday. Houston, Charlie 38, engine fire. 48 engine fire, copy.
All 172 passengers and 6 crew members evacuated. 12 passengers had to be taken to the hospital.
This was a situation involving a mechanical malfunction of the engine in flight. Fortunately, the crew did exactly the right thing and got the airplane on the ground.
A series of recent crashes in Washington, Philadelphia, and Toronto and other close calls have rattled air travelers. Ticket sales are down. Delta's CEO recently saying a renewed fear of flying has caused a lot of shock. But experts remind us flying is still one of the safest ways to get anywhere.
This actually shows you how well the system does work. Pilots are able to get the airplane on the ground. The fire department got the flames out as fast as they started.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Well, more plane problems. Now, I like how they tried to reassure us there at the end. They're like, it is still the safest way to travel. Yeah, when was the last time you guys just did the numbers on that? Because it's been looking rough. It's been looking rough. It's not just here. It happened in Canada not that long ago, too. We're having problems all over the place. I don't know if it's the safest way to travel. They say it is statistically, but if you're in a car accident, at least you got a little bit of control before you get in the crash. When you're in a plane, that bitch falls out the sky. You can choose to yell or not yell. You choose to flail your arms around while you're scared, or you could just sit in your seat and be real quiet. But those are your choices while you fall back to the earth. And that doesn't sound like any fun to me. Road trips are a lot more fun than flying in a plane anyways. So unless you're just really into that kinky stuff of dying in an airplane, I think it's better to just take a trip in the car anyways. Next up, Alabama farmers impacted by canceled USDA program. Now, again, this has to do with President Trump and DOJ cutting federal funding and all of that. Now, this is impacting farmers in a negative way. Now, I don't know if this is all farmers being affected by this, or if it's just a small portion of farmers, or if it's like a specific situation. I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully, this is not negatively impacting all farmers, because obviously farmers are very important to all of us, because we need food. We need real food, especially while we got all this crap on the shelves of Walmart. So it's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about American Airlines catching on fire and 12 people injured. Guess Sam hates flying. He jumps out of every plane he flies in. Yeah, it's true, guess he never stays for the whole flight. Hey, be safe out there, U-Hill. Thank you for being here. Jay Spray, don't fly unless you were born with wings. Yeah, that's my motto. What's up, Cassie J? Happy freedom to you. Guess we had a Learjet nosedive yesterday, KO'd the pilot. Holy. I didn't see anything about that. This plane incident, for some reason, is like a really big deal. There was a whole like news slot for it on YouTube. Russell, you love flying? I don't know. I wouldn't trust the planes the way that things are going right now. You think they're doing it on purpose? You think they're doing it to intentionally scare us to be in a plane? You think there's like a secret motive? Just randomly thought in my head, you know, the way our government works, you never could be too confident in any decision. Russell, there was a helicopter that ran into power lines today in Ohio. Dang, that's crazy. I didn't see that either. Tin Man, I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Yeah, Sam doesn't. He doesn't wait around. He just hops out. What's up, Metal Mouth? Happy freedom to you. Bobby, there's no fresh food in school meals. See, it's been a long time since I've been in school, but I remember when I was in school, there wasn't any healthy choices. It's like, which bowl of crap do you want? I'm like, I want the red one. Non-woke American Airlines don't sell tickets, they sell chances. Yeah, that's it costs too much, you know? For the chance that you're not going to come back onto the ground safely, it's too expensive. Bobby, it's a lie. School meals don't come from a farm. I don't know how school meals got involved in this. I wasn't nothing I said had to do with school meals, but I believe you. Uphill to heaven. I think these mechanics need to do full maintenance on all these planes. I think so too. I think that people cut corners and, you know, jump through hoops and stuff with as little effort as possible. Just like anywhere else. Anywhere you work, you got that one guy who's supposed to be doing stuff and he just dicks around the whole time and never like just does the bare minimum. You got these kind of people working on planes and they're like, did you check everything? They're like, yeah, I checked it. I'm pretty sure. Guy's half drunk and shit. And the next thing you know, plane's on fire and they're like, oh man, I don't know what happened. Like, yeah, because people are lazy and they suck. That's why. And again, all of that comes back to accountability. When we do not hold people accountable for their actions, they will continue to cut corners and be lowlifes. And that's just the way it is. And it's that way all the way around, from the top to the bottom. Look at the damn government. How many people have been arrested for the Epstein Island shit? Nobody? Yeah, see, and that's what I mean. From the top to the bottom, we're not holding anybody accountable. Nobody's going to be better. And that's just it. Tree Herder, our government's full of pizza fingers. You are not wrong. What's up, Rappy? Happy freedom. A lot going on with the airlines here lately. Yep. Stoner, we had good school meals, then Mike Obama messed it up. Yeah, I could see that. Barack did, you know, they hurt our media and stuff, so doesn't surprise me. Jay Spray, wings a little loose, but she should make it. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Matt Rogers? Happy freedom to you. Brappy, the only school lunch I liked was pizza. I used to like pizza and walking tacos, where they put the taco meat and the cheese right in the Frito bag. I used to like that, but that was about it. What's up, Chris? Happy freedom to you. Remember last year when Biden did a software update in the navigation system? Then we started having cyber criminal issues with barge crashes and now plane crashes. Just a coincidence, though. Yeah, it does look like we've stepped up our stupidity. It's hard to say exactly what the cause is. I'm blaming lazy people, but I'm sure there's a source. Find it, fix it. Did you know that one of the airlines is going to hire deaf and blind people? Well, as long as they're not pilots, you know. I'm sure they can find something for them to do. What's up, Teasel? Happy freedom to you. What's up, E-Ro? Happy freedom to you. Haven't been on a plane since 97. I don't know if things have gotten better or worse since then, but it's not good right now. I know that. What's up, Tactical? Happy freedom to you. Vinny C, Denver Airport is controlled by secret societies. There's symbolism everywhere. That's interesting. Ludington's like that. There's a bunch of, oh, I can't even think what they're called. The stupid compass with the A in it or whatever that is. That shit is everywhere in Ludington. I can't think of what that's called right now. Anyways. We're dead on X. Brussels Pizza Day was great. Yes. Zero loved Pizza Day. I guess we were all big fans of Pizza Day. Yeah, Zero, the Masons, the Freemasons. That's all over in Ludington. Jay Spray, the square pizza was the bomb. See, did we all have the same pizza? Find it, fix it. They still serve healthy food. Let me see. They still serve healthy food at Kids. I got apples, carrots, pizza. Very good stuff for them. See, I don't even know what they offer these days. I don't have a way to know. Really. Go visit the school. Yeah, serving healthy food. They're like, get the fuck out of here. What are you, a white supreme pizza? Like I said, we're going to get into this next one. This is Alabama farmers impacted by a canceled USDA program. Now, they're basically saying this is hurting farmers because of the cutting of costs and all of that DOJ and President Trump is doing. I don't know that this is necessarily impacting all farmers. It kind of seems like it's only farmers that are in certain programs. Like, they're providing food to certain sources. It's not just all farmers are being affected by this. I might be wrong, but that's what it kind of sounds like. Now, like I said, everybody in the comments, they're celebrating this. They're like, ha, 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 you get what you voted for. So we'll see how this goes. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
Spring fruits are blooming, just weeks away from being ready, but a federal contract canceled at the last minute means some of those Alabama crops don't have a buyer. News 19's Kayla Smith explains how this is impacting family farms.
They were planted the last week of last September, which would have been...
When these strawberries ripen, they were supposed to be taken to the Food Bank of North Alabama. For the past 3 years, Jeremy Calvert has been a part of a federal program that paid Alabama farmers to grow produce for food banks.
We provided a product to the local food banks, a quality product. We didn't provide junk, and we were paid for it at a more or less an average market price.
The local food purchase assistance program funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture was cut this week. This year's program promised farmers across Alabama a total of $5.6 million.
Some decisions have been made that can't be reversed.
Some plants are, of course, already in the ground. J. Calvert Farms harvests their produce by hand, and those workers have already been hired for the year. The majority of the farm's fruits and veggies are sold at farmers markets and the family's local store, but Calvert sells to a few distributors like the food bank.
We're looking for other options, trying to find different markets for it. It's just have to do the best we can.
And those who need the Food Bank of North Alabama are losing some of its freshest produce.
They're still on the vine probably 2 days before they ate it.
Over 3 years, Alabama farmers delivered more than 1 million pounds of locally grown products to the Food Bank of North Alabama.
The food banks were happy with it. We got a decent price for our product. We had a consistent delivery schedule, so it was a good thing for us.
Calvert says he wishes the farmers had been given more notice before the program was canceled. After all, growing even a single strawberry requires months of planning. In Coleman County, Kayla Smith, News 19.
Those working with the Alabama Department of Agriculture made an effort to involve small family-owned farms with this program with the goal of benefiting farmers and supporting rural economies.
Okay. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is affecting all farmers, but obviously it's disrupting the chain with that farmer. So I'm not sure what these cuts, as the USDA cuts, how many farmers are actually impacted by this. It seems like a bad thing, right? We don't want farmers to be hurting and stuff. We don't want people to quit farming or anything like that. We need those fresh foods. So I don't really know. I assume we will have some sort of follow-up to this topic. I can't imagine this is the only farm that's being affected by this. But if it is, then it's not that big of a deal, right? Because we're worried about what's happening to all farmers. Now, there's a situation that I kind of came across while researching for news, and part of that is special education is being cut because it is funded by the Department of Education. And we know that the Department of Education just lost 50% of their workforce, and eventually there will not be a Department of Education. Now, the more they walk towards that, the more of these special education programs that are being cut down. Now, when I was in school, I was in special ed from 3rd grade till the third time I did 12th grade. Now, that's probably embarrassing, but I don't give a shit. That's the truth. However, if they cut special education programs, you could end up like my mom. See, my mom was dyslexic like I am, and they didn't have special ed back then. So they kicked her out of school. You could not compete with other students, and so she finished her education in jail. And that's how she got it. Because being in school, she just failed all the time, and there was no program to help her. So it makes me wonder, what are they going to do to fix this? And so I've been Googling it and stuff, and yes, there is confirmation that the special education program is going to go away as soon as the Department of Education goes away. So I'm trying to figure out what is the solution for that, because that's kind of one of those things that probably should stay. Kids that need help deserve to get that extra help. Now, I think that the state should have to fund that since there is no Department of Education, but in a state like here in Michigan, where we got a communist for our damn governor, what's going to happen when the governor says, no, we're not putting any money for that? She's been campaigning for like 10 years on fixing the damn roads, right? And we're paying all these tax dollars to fix the damn roads, and we have yet to see roads being fixed. Like, it's just bullshit. So if they're not going to give money to special education, who is? And if nobody does, then it's just the kids that suffer. And so I think that's a really weird situation, and it's hard to tell how this is all going to work out because it's such a big problem, right? There's so much involved in it. And I was thinking about this, but I haven't found any more material on it, which is why I wasn't initially going to bring it up. But then I came across this deal with the farmer. So now I'm trying to figure out how many farmers or farms are being affected by this USDA cut. How big of a deal is it that it's being cut? How are they going to fill the gap now that the cut's been made? And what's the potential blowback if no one ever fills the gap and these people just stop farming because there's no funds for it? It's a weird situation. I still have confidence that President Trump is doing the right thing, but these are weird little nuances happening in the background that I kind of have questions about. Anyways, next up, Caroline Leavitt, like I said, did a parking lot presser today for whatever reason she does that. And it's titled, Leavitt Says Admin Will Fight Back After Judge's Orders to Reinstatement of Workers. Now, yesterday we covered that a judge decided that all those probationary workers for the federal government that were fired, they need to be brought back because they were illegally terminated. Now, the biggest problem with that is a lot of them don't have a department to go back to because the department that they initially worked for doesn't exist anymore. So if we hire them back, what are they going to do? Now, Caroline Leavitt is saying that they're going to fight back against this. Seems like they are not going to hire those people. They're going to find ways around it, which I kind of spoke about yesterday. But she's going to be talking about that as well as a plethora of other topics. It's coming up next, but first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the Alabama farmer who's been impacted by the canceled USDA program. Russell, Louisiana used to pay for the most of their special ed, so the state pays for it. See, that's what they need to do here. Russell, poor people don't need to eat. Some schools say it's a privilege to eat at school, which is why food is not free at school. You have to pay for it or you have to apply for free lunch. Turbo, time for the state of Alabama to pay for it if it's so important. I agree. Got some. The state pays for special education in Texas as well. See, we need a new governor. It's kind of like the country. We needed a new president. Well, in order to make Michigan great again, we're going to need a new governor. Metal Mouth, the farmers will figure it out. They always do. I think so as well. Pumpkin, I bet they have farmers markets in Alabama. Yeah, I bet so too. There's lots of farmers markets up here. Pumpkin, education will go to the states. They'll have special education. Yeah, it just sucks because everybody's getting fired right now. Like, everybody's being laid off, and all the programs are being closed right now because there's no funding. The state may eventually fund it, but as of right now, they're just doing away with it. They're just like erasing special education here in Michigan. What's up, Tori Wayne? Happy freedom to you. Dutton, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Metal Mouth, there's farmer markets all over the state of Alabama. Yeah, I figured because they got warm weather most of the year. We got winter like 7 months out of the year, and we have a ton of farmer markets. So I figured Alabama would have a ton of them too. Done. I'm good, just grumpy. I think most of us are like that. I think the time change is like kicking us. That and the damn allergies, and some people got the flu. It's a rough time to be an American right now. Master Meatball, file a FOIA in Michigan for an accounting on the roads. Yeah, I should do that. Because like I said, Governor Whitmer, she keeps saying, we're going to fix the damn roads. And then never does. Never does. We got potholes big enough to smuggle your children in. If the cartel could see the holes in the ground, they would try and tunnel to there, because it's like the road. You'd be better off driving off road than on the road. They're that bad. What's up, Hooligans Island? Happy freedom to you. Still waiting on the Epstein list. What's up with Pam Bondi and Cash Patel? They were just hanging out at the DOJ meeting. I saw both of them there while we were watching President Trump speak. They're just having themselves a good time. What's up, Sam Livington? Happy freedom to you. Livingston. Sorry. Zero, this week has been a shit week. Pissed off every day for some reason. Yeah, I really think it's the time change. Everybody I've talked to is like, yeah, it's okay, but I'm mad for no reason. I swear. What's up, Disco? Happy freedom to you. All right, Hooligans. We're going to move forward to this next one. Let me see. This next one, like I said, is Caroline Levitt. She did a parking lot presser today. And I don't know why she does that. We would never accept that from KJP or Jen Balsacki. We would be roasting them out of a job. But for some reason, it's okay where Caroline Levitt does it. Either way, she, like I said, she did a parking lot presser, and it's titled, "The Admin Will Fight Back After Judge Orders Reinstatement of Workers." Now, before we get into this, I'm going to remind you, Hooligans, really quick, if you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out, as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this pulled up. This is kind of a follow-up. Like I said, yesterday we covered the judge making the orders saying that President Trump needs to hire back those probationary workers that work for the federal government who were terminated because they just weren't good enough. Well, the judge says, oh, you got to hire them back even though their department doesn't exist anymore. Caroline Levitt says, no, we're not going to hire them back. We're going to fight against it. And like I said, she's going to be taking questions from the press, so we're going to hear about a plethora of topics here. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as over on the CommiTube. and let's get into this.
Couple of questions, Caroline.
Happy Friday.
Can you give us a preview of the President's Justice Department speech?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you know, the President will be heading there later this afternoon. The Attorney General will be there, as well as the FBI Director, Kash Patel. And the President is going to give a speech focused on restoring law and order to our country. In the last 4 years under the Biden administration, we unfortunately saw a Department of Justice that was weaponized against Americans for their political ideologies. It was not focused on fighting violent crime and restoring law and order and public safety. So the President will be talking about his intention to restore those very basic American values to our country. And he will also be there with fentanyl families and angel moms who have lost their children at the hands of illegal migrant criminals who the previous administration allowed into our country, and also, of course, to illegal Chinese fentanyl, which, as you all know, the President feels very strongly about cracking down on drug cartels, drug trafficking, and human trafficking as well. So you'll hear about all that later this afternoon. I don't want to get ahead of the President any more than that.
Caroline, do you think the President will talk to President Putin during the day?
I don't have anything on the President's schedule, but that could obviously always change. As you saw his Truth Social this morning, he is putting pressure on President Putin and the Russians to do the right thing. Yesterday was a productive day for the United States of America and for the world in terms of peace. We have never been this close to peace. You saw the NATO Secretary General in the Oval Office yesterday. You were there with us, who said that only because of President Trump are we here on the verge of brokering a peace deal.
Caroline, did the President talk to President Trump last night? Did the President talk to President Trump last night on the phone?
President
Trump talked to President. Did President Trump talk to President Putin last night on the phone?
He did not, no. Steve
not.
Witkoff spoke to him yesterday in Moscow, as you know.
Has the President spoken with the incoming Canadian Prime Minister at all this week? I know earlier this week you said they hadn't yet spoken, but given everything that's going on between the United States and Canada, have they spoken yet?
To my knowledge, they have not spoken. When they do, we can provide a readout of that.
Do you have any update on New York Governor meeting, hopeful meeting with President Trump?
Yeah, I believe it's still ongoing, or it wrapped when I came out here. But the governor was here to talk about the pipeline that President Trump is very determined to get passed in the New England and New York area. And so, that's as far as I know about the conversation, but I can get an update on it.
John, district court rulings about all the fired probationary workers use the same language here just now that was in the statement about fighting back against that ruling. Do you mean appealing or something else? And does the administration plan to comply with those orders in the meantime?
Fighting back by appealing, fighting back by using the full weight of the White House counsel's office and our lawyers at the federal government who believe that this injunction is entirely unconstitutional. And it is, for anybody who has a basic understanding of the law. You cannot have a low-level district court judge filing an injunction to usurp the executive authority of the President of the United States. That is completely absurd. And as the executive of the executive branch, the President has the ability to fire or hire. And you have these lower level judges who are trying to block this President's agenda. It's very clear. And as I just cited, I was appalled by the statistic when I saw it this morning. In 1 month, in February, there have been 15 injunctions of this administration in our agenda. In 3 years under the Biden administration, there were 14 injunctions. So it's very clear that there are judicial activists throughout our judicial branch who are trying to block this president's executive authority. We are going to fight back. And as anyone who saw President Trump and his legal team fighting back, they know how to do it. He was indicted nearly 200 times, and he's in the Oval Office now because all of the indictments, all of these injunctions have always been unconstitutional and unfair. They are led by partisan activists who are trying to usurp the will of this president, and we're not going to stand for it.
Will the White House have any response to the S&P 500 entering correction territory?
All right, Caroline Levitt there with a parking lot presser. I still don't understand that. I don't understand why that's acceptable. We would never accept that from KJP. If KJP was standing outside the White House and was like, yeah, we're just going to do this shit here with 4 reporters, we would be like, no, you're doing a shit job. You need to do the press briefing from the press room where the reporters are, where the world is watching, instead of it just being released randomly on on X. You basically have to have an X account in order to hear from the president or the White House at this point. That is not right. That is not right. I don't know who made those decisions, but they need to do something about that. That is janky as hell. Anyways, next up we have a Kari Lake video titled "Just Saved American Taxpayers $53 Million Doll Hairs." Kari Lake is now the senior advisor to the U.S. Agency for Global Media. She's going to be talking about mass deportations, the Department of Education, and how she's been canceling fake news to save us some money. But first, we're going to hop in the chat and see what you hooligans think about Caroline Leavitt, the questions she answered, and the fact that she was talking about President Trump fighting back against this judge's orders, claiming that he will have to rehire these probationary workers that were fired from the federal government. Jay Spray, I know people who are married into the family. She's a nut job, puppeteer. Her idea of chips and salsa act. No, yeah. Yes. Zero, why did no conservative judges do this against Biden? Because Biden wasn't really president. Yeah. Well, and I wonder if they're going to actually do something about this auto pen situation. They're saying every EO that was signed, every document that was signed by Biden was done with auto pen, except for the document he signed saying he was dropping out of the presidential race. That was the only one he actually signed himself. So it seems like all the EOs that Biden signed should be void, because they were done with auto pen, and they suspect that he didn't even sign them, that it was staffers and people like that were using auto pen to sign on his behalf, which is wrong. It should be illegal if it's not. So I feel like that stuff should be void, but we need accountability to happen if we're going to have some changes like that. But I'm still waiting on that. Hey, thank you for being here, Jay Spray. Be safe out there. Metalmouth, I don't see how a judge can tell the commander-in-chief of the United States what to do. I don't know how it works either, Metalmouth. And like I said yesterday, how come no judges or anybody stood up against old man Walter? When Biden was out here ruining the country, how come there was no judges standing in the way of that? Everything that President Trump tries to do, there's lawsuits made, there's judges turning things over and undoing it. That never happened with Biden. Why not? When Biden was signing executive orders, they made it sound like it was the word of God. It was like he said it and everybody just had to get in line, and that's it. President Trump tries to do anything and they're like, oh no, he's breaking the law. Oh, he's tearing the Constitution up, blah, blah, blah. And they put everything on hold. And then everybody wonders, how come price of eggs ain't gone down? How come this is that and the other? Well, everybody's standing in the damn way. He can't even do anything. It's messed up. Ghostly, it wasn't him who signed it. It was Jill. Yeah, Ghostly, that's what I figured too. Old man Walter doesn't know anything about nothing. What's up, Rutro? Happy freedom to you. Oh, Class Daniels. We'll get up here. Yeah, but turn around. You ain't got to show them all the goods. Come on now. They're never going to sign up to your Only Klaus. Yes, Only Klaus. Smack that booty. You good boy. Rappy, yes, we covered President Trump at the very beginning of the live. We caught the whole thing. WC, short synopsis of what Trump said. I'd rather not say the same old, but it sounded very much of the same old. It kind of sounded like every other speech he's done. It was good, but I didn't really hear anything that sounded new. What's up, Bill Clay? Happy freedom to you. I don't feel sorry for Joe Biden at all. I wasn't really thrilled to see Jill Handler dragging him around. It looked like elderly abuse, but he still said the shit he said and did the things he did when he was conscious. So I don't really feel bad for him, but I wasn't enjoying the end there, watching them shove this old man around and be like, go over there and speak to these people. I don't know. I wasn't excited to see that. Metal Mouth Klaus for president. Yeah, he'd be a good president. Master Meatball, hire them back as janitorial. Yeah. Or have them clean up the streets of D.C. Those federal workers could do that. Devin, that was Jim Carrey in a mask playing Biden. Yeah, I've seen a lot of speculation on that. What's up, Animated Adventure? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Spirit Matter? Happy freedom to you. Hooligans Island. Old Man Walter is unplugged and lying around the lab somewhere. Probably. I'd still like to see a follow-up to his whole deal with the talent agency. Old Man Walter, when he left the White House, he got involved with some talent agency out in Hollywood. I don't know if they're going to try and stick him in movies or TV shows, or we're going to see him in Coca-Cola commercials. I'm kind of looking for a follow-up to that. Ghostly. Like how Klaus is just another hooligan, here to see what the libtards are up to today. Yeah. He has to see the behind the scenes, though, when I'm having technical problems and I'm screaming cuss words at my computer. He's like, all right, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in a little bit. And I'm like, okay. Yes. Let's get into this next one. Like I said, let's see, where are we? Carrie Lake just saved American taxpayers $53 million. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick. If you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click the big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat. And like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We have chapstick emojis, scream and goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this pulled up. It's been a while since we had Carrie Lake on here. I think the last time we saw Carrie Lake was before she was picked for President Trump's cabinet. I think it was right after she had tried to run for governor, mayor, maybe? Was it no, Senate, right? She was going for Senate. She went for governor last time. But that didn't work out the way that was planned, so we weren't really sure what was going to happen. And then President Trump selected her as a part of his cabinet and all of that. So this is the first time since she's had a new job title that we've had her on. Once again, this is Carrie Lake just saved American taxpayers $53 million. She is now the senior advisor for the U.S. Agency for Global Media. She's going to be talking about mass deportations, the Department of Education, and how she canceled fake news. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as over on the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
Welcome back. Trump ready to speed up deportations by invoking a historic wartime law, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Could be invoked as early as Friday, according to CNN. It was a move that he pledged to make during his campaign. If invoked, the targets of the act will be immediately processed and removed from American soil under an emergency wartime authority. And Carrie Lake is a senior advisor of U.S. Agency at the U.S. Agency for Global Media. And she's also a border state girl from Arizona, so we can talk about all this stuff together. Right. Carrie, good to see you. So this Alien Act from 1798, it sounds pretty good.
You know what? They had way more common sense back then.
Yeah.
And they knew an invasion, and they knew that the risk of an invasion would be something too great for our country to bear. And unfortunately, we've had to bear it for the past 4 years. And President Trump for 4 years has said he's going to put the American people first. He's going to close the border and get people who came in and invaded our country out. And he's just keeping his promises. Everybody loves it when you keep your promises. And our streets will be safer. Our economy will actually grow. the price of things will go down, and I'm thrilled that he's going to do this. He's using every tool in the toolbox, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, if they're allowed to bring in millions and millions of people just illegally and then lie about it, like we know that Mayorkas has been lying about it, we learned that today as well, why can't we use something like this to reverse such a heinous atrocity committed on our country? I want to turn to this. Tim Walz is furious over the ending of the Federal Department of Education. Take a listen.
Let's just name it what it is. The president has no idea how education works. He has no idea how these work. He has no idea how any of this works.
He has no idea how well, it doesn't work, Tim. That's why it's getting gutted, because it doesn't work at all, clearly, if you see the test results.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ever since this was brought into existence from Jimmy Carter, our test results have plummeted. They've gone down. Our kids just have not gotten a quality education that they should be getting. And as a mother with 2 children of my own, I just want our kids to have a world-class education. We're a world-class country, and we should be putting forth, especially with the money we're pouring into it, we should be getting out of it an incredible education for our children.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with Linda McMahon. She's going into that. Nobody that President Trump's bringing in is coming for a job where they're going to be a permanent creature of D.C. Linda McMahon says, I'm going to send it back to the states, and if I have to, I'll shut the lights off when I leave. But it should be in the hands of the states and, frankly, in the hands of the parents.
That's exactly right. You found some pretty serious waste at the U.S. Agency for Global Media, I understand. Tell us about that.
Oh boy, you know, I've been in the position for just a few weeks, and I went into fact-finding mode, and the waste is outrageous. From a 15 million a year fancy skyscraper with the most fancy furniture you'd ever see and marble finishings, to just waste, everyday waste. I wrote one down. I just saw this before I left the office today. $81,430 to pay for focus group discussions in 3 West African countries to see if they can identify biased news. So today, I started the process of cutting the contracts and terminating the contracts of the Associated Press, Reuters, and the Agency of the French Press. From our agency. We are there to tell the story of America. Why do we need the agency French press to tell that story? And I just saved the American taxpayers $53 million. Tomorrow I'm going to continue cutting wasteful spending at the Agency of Global Media. I want people to know I'm not in the director position at Voice of America. So if you're seeing something on that website or what they're putting out that you think is egregious and outrageous, this is an agency that Trump proofed itself before Trump got into office again, and they have made it nearly impossible for him to get his people in. In order for me to get in as director of VOA, 7 people have to be confirmed by the Senate for me to get in. But he put me in as senior advisor, and I'm doing what I can from that role to clean things up.
That's amazing. Isn't that just so typical, too? That's amazing.
Yep.
Carrie Lake, a good fighter. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, there is Carrie Lake. Like I said, it's been a while since we've had her on. Out here saving us 53 million doll hairs. Good stuff. I've always liked Carrie Lake. Some people don't like her. I've never seen hooligans that don't like her. But other political figures out there don't like Carrie Lake. I think it's because she's feisty. And I like when she talks to the press because she's very stern with the press. She used to be a reporter, so she knows how all the games work. And once they start doing that bullshit, and then she starts getting mad at them. Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit. Yeah. So, next up we have Columbia University dorm rooms searched by the DHS. In this video, they're going to be talking about how they have they have arrested a pro-Hamas protester. They don't give you any details on it. I don't know why the first guy got aired out, and his name is not Mohammed Khalil. That's what we've been saying for like 3 days. That is not his name. His name is like Mom Mute or something like that. I always thought it was Muhammad. It's like Mom Mute. I don't know what it is. So we're going to go with Khalil from here out because at least I know I'm saying that correctly. They put Khalil out there. They stuck his face all over the news. They told you every little thing about him. They said he had a green card and everything else. This person's being arrested for the same exact reasons. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. We don't know if they're legal or not legal. We don't know if they were born here or not born here. We don't know anything about it. They don't want to tell anybody anything about it, which is really weird. Also in this video, they're going to be discussing how Columbia University is trying to turn over a new leaf, because if they don't, they're going to lose their federal funding, and then we'll see how they're acting. This is coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Kari Lake. Russell, Kari is doing the job. I agree. She does good at everything she does. They just screw her over in elections. Man, old Tampon Tim, what an idiot. He is an idiot. I'm waiting to see if he's going to be running with Hyena Harris. Hyena Harris is supposedly getting ready to do her campaign thing or whatever, which she's got a while until that's official. I think they're supposed to actually wait a long period of time, like 2 years or something, before they can officially say they're running for president. That's what they did with President Trump. He couldn't tell us at 2021 that he was running for president. He had to wait until like 2023 before he was able to officially announce that he was running for president. But we already know that Hyena Harris is going to make that effort. I just wonder if Tim Walz is going to be her VP selection. Cass J, love Kari Lake. Russell, I like Kari Lake. Yes. Zero, it's so nice out. I got all the windows open. It's nice here too. It's like 72 degrees outside. I don't know what it'll be by the time I'm done being live, but it was nice out earlier. Russell, nah, Klaus would mandate that everyone eats Fancy Feast. I think he would mandate that everyone has to hand over their Fancy Feast. Klaus Daniels in the White House. What's up, Janet? Happy freedom to you. Sorry you're not feeling well. Hope you start feeling better. What's up, Juliet? Happy freedom to you. Dunn, did you hear about the InfoWars employee that got murdered and another got swatted? Then Trump impersonator got swatted. Lefties torching Teslas. Damn terrorists. Yeah, we covered that the lefties out there have been doing all kinds of stuff, using Molotov cocktails against dealerships and as well as just random Teslas and stuff. I did hear that the InfoWars reporter was murdered. I can't think of his name. It's like something White or something like that. He was shot in the neck in the parking lot. I guess the bullet went through one side and came right out the other. He survived long enough for the police to show up and send him to the hospital, but then he died like 20 minutes after he got to the hospital. I haven't found anybody talking about it other than Alex Jones, and Alex Jones doesn't make a video that's less than 2 hours long. And so I haven't been able to find a video to actually cover that, but I did see that, and I did see that some people were swatted. I didn't know who it was, but it's hard to cover that stuff without just covering Alex Jones. And like I said, his videos are way too long, but nobody else wants to cover it. As soon as they hear that any of this is attached to Alex Jones or InfoWars, then nobody wants to touch it. They just want to be hands off with it. But yeah, what's going on over there is a big deal, and for some reason nobody's covering it. So I will try to do my best to see if we can figure out a way to cover what happened to the InfoWars reporter, because he was murdered. And like I'm saying, with the publicity deal, they don't want to put any spotlight on it because of Alex Jones and InfoWars and the stigma that follows those brands. Unfortunately, what do you think that's going to do with the murder investigation? It makes me feel like the police are probably not going to lift much of a finger to try and figure out who the murderers are, because they're, in a way, they're going to blame InfoWars or Alex Jones. They're probably going to say, well, you guys deserve it. You guys are out here kicking hornets' nests, and you deserve this. And, you know, I've seen that in a lot of different situations, because people are just people. It doesn't matter if they wear a badge or not. They're still humans, and they're flawed. And so, I don't know, the way that the news is lacking on reporting it, it makes me feel like the police officers aren't going to really investigate it either. It's a rough situation. Janet, my allergies turned into a sinus infection. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm having a hard time with allergies right now, too. Snooks' name was Jamie White. Thank you for letting me know. Benny Johnson was swatted yesterday. FBI is taking care of it. Yeah. A lot of people get swatted. I hate that. That should be a big deal. But they don't have a way to really catch who did it. I mean, unless they're really stupid. Rappy, I heard Hyena Harris was going to run for governor of California. She was saying that, but I think she announced the other day that she's not going to pursue that. She was saying that, though, right after she lost the presidential election. Bill Clay, what are you going to do with your $53 million hairs? You know, I kind of want to know that stuff too. They're saving all this money, these tax dollars and stuff. Like, great. I'm glad we're saving it. We got $200 billion saved or something right now. What are we going to do with that money? I don't want to hear that we're going to send it to Ukraine. What are we going to do with it? WC Charlie Kirk said they should charge one person for attempted murder for swatting to deter others. Yeah, they should. The problem is a lot of times people are using VPNs, or they're using burner phones, or they're using they got apps now where you can like install this free app and they'll give you a phone number and you can use it for 24 hours or whatever, but then the number gets swapped to somebody else. There's a lot of different things that people are doing in order to do the swatting and not get caught. And it's like cyber criminals. You get attacked by a cyber criminal, a lot of times there's nothing that can be done. They don't want to admit that because they want you to use the internet. They want you to use the internet for everything, renewing your ID and filling out applications and doing your banking and all of that. They don't want you to be afraid of the internet, but the reality is when the bad guys come to get you on the internet, there's no one here to save you. No one is going to save you. And that's just the reality of the situation, and it sucks. So if you get swatted, chances are nothing's going to happen. You could die in the process, but if you don't, there's nothing preventing it from happening again, which really sucks. Stoner, $5,000 Doge checks? Nah, I don't think we're going to see that. You notice they don't even talk about it anymore. It's because they took something President Trump said way, 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 way out of context. And now they don't even mention it. Hooligans Island, they could track the calls. I mean, they could track the calls back to some number somewhere. But it's just like using a VPN and stuff. That stuff can be like spoofed. So it's not legit. Or if it's a foreign country, you know, if the number comes back to a foreign number, they're not going to do anything about that. Devin, I heard that the DA was connected to the cartel. That would not surprise me at all. Vinny C. Bill Clinton said Carrie Lake is a really good looking woman. Well, he better watch himself. He has to live with Hillary. What's up, Breeze by You? Happy Freedom. We really need to see people arrested for crap. It's, you know, waiting on somebody to be arrested. Zero Cat Turd's been swatted 4 times. Yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. Like, you know, what can you even do about it? The authorities don't know how to stop it. All right, hooligans. We're going to move into this next one. Like I said, Columbia University dorm rooms were searched by DHS agents. And they arrested somebody else, but for some reason they're being really secretive about the information. They're not putting it all over like with Khalil. They stuck Khalil's face all over everything.
Breaking news.
Come on, YouTube. You just be taking all damn day. Anyways, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
Breaking news, we have just learned of the arrest of a second student involved in a pro-Palestinian demonstration at Columbia University. This comes after federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security searched 2 student dorm rooms last night, but did not arrest anyone. Masa Saidi is outside the campus in Morningside Heights with details. Masa.
Hi there, Cindy. Some more on that breaking news update. As you said, we have just learned that another student from Columbia was arrested yesterday. This according to multiple sources with Homeland Security. They say that the student overstayed her visa. They also say that she was arrested back in April for what law enforcement is calling involvement in a pro-Hamas protest here on Columbia's campus. And we are expecting multiple rallies on campus today.
Tensions high at Columbia University Friday, hours after federal agents executed search warrants on campus. We've learned DHS officers searched 2 student residences. The university's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, saying she's, quote, heartbroken by the search, but adding no one was arrested or detained, and the university is obligated to comply with the law. This comes as the Trump administration demands big changes at Columbia before they potentially regain access to federal funding. In a letter to President Armstrong yesterday, the administration outlined immediate next steps, including enforce existing disciplinary policies, institute a mask ban, and formalize a definition of anti-Semitism. The school has 1 week to document compliance. Meantime, disturbing allegations from the lawyers of pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, who are now suing the government in the hopes of his immediate release. In a legal filing Thursday, his lawyers claim he was shackled as he was rushed to Louisiana last weekend in a manner that left him feeling like he was being kidnapped.
We will not comply, Mahmoud. We are fighting back.
Early Thursday, protesters took over the lobby of Trump Tower, 98 of them arrested for trespassing. Their message for ICE, release Mahmoud Khalil.
If you are an American and you believe in the Constitution, you should be standing here today.
Last year's demonstrations culminated in protesters taking over Hamilton Hall. It's unclear if Khalil was involved, but in a letter to students Thursday, Columbia's administration said it issued sanctions to students who were involved, ranging from multi-year suspensions, temporary degree revocations, and expulsions.
So again, lots happening on campus today. We are expecting at least 2 rallies. The first set to take place at 12:30 behind me for Mahmoud Khalil, the pro-Palestinian activist who is right now in ICE custody. Another rally set to take place at 1:30 for one of the workers who was suspended for taking part in the demonstrations last year. Meantime, Columbia is declining to comment on pending litigation. We'll keep you up to date with everything that happens today at 5 and at 6. For now, that's the very latest in Morningside Heights. I'm Masa Saidi, CBS News, New York.
Masa, thank you.
Okay. Now, like I said, they don't talk a whole lot about the person that was arrested. They talk about it at the very beginning. There's like a whole slot of news on YouTube that is all based around this new protester being arrested, and for some reason they just do not provide any information. Let me see if they still have it. Let me see. Well, now they're just talking about Khalil. Also, you could hear that his name is not Muhammad, it's Ma-Mute or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Like, he's not the only person doing this stuff. I'm sure he's not the only person with a green card that's there. There's a lot of people doing it, but for some reason they're making him the face of the situation. And like I said, this other person that was arrested, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say their name, their gender, their age, their legal status, nothing. They don't want to talk about it. Either way, and like I also mentioned, that the school all of a sudden is trying to turn over a new leaf now that their federal funding is being threatened. We've seen the professors go out there and participate in these protests and make claims about, Palestine and all that crap over there. Now they're saying they're going to suspend and even expel students who participate in these pro-Hamas protests. But it's going on 2nd year of this happening. And once President Trump said, hey, if you want to do this, we're not going to give you federal funding anymore. Now they're turning over a new leaf. Next up is a crazy story. It's titled, Waterbury Woman Accused of Holding Malnourished Stepson Captive for 20 Years. Now, I actually watched 3 different videos based on this to try and gather all the details. And this woman wasn't by herself. It was her husband, and 2 daughters that I don't know if they were his stepsisters or his full sisters or what, but everybody in the house knew he was being locked upstairs. The father passed away, and this behavior continued on. This guy was 11 years old when he was pulled from school. He was locked upstairs in his house. He's now 32 years old. He's 5'9" and only weighs 60-something pounds. He is near death. He's so malnourished, he's near death. He's been held captive for 21 years in the upstairs of his house. And the way this all broke through is he set a fire in the room that he was locked in, and that's how this whole situation fell into pieces. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Columbia University being searched by DHS, people being arrested, as well as Columbia University turning over a new leaf now that their federal funding is being threatened. Breezeway, you so tired of all the stupid out there? Yeah, me too. Russell, deport pro-Hamas immigrants. Yep. Well, they're breaking their status by sympathizing with terrorists. Hair juicer Nick Sorter's dad and sister was swatted too. Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I saw people talking about it. Yeah, 10 man. I agree. And they said the CPS went to the house when he was like 11 years old, and I don't know what happened from there, but they didn't do anything to save him. What's up, Pickle Rick? Happy freedom to you. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Janet, Hamas is a terrorist organization. If you want to support them, then you should be arrested or go overseas to live with Hamas. That's how I feel too, Janet. If an American claims that they're going to sympathize with ISIS or they're going to help ISIS, then they're usually picked up by Fed boys, either the FBI or somebody like that. Usually will pick them up and kind of charge them with aiding terrorism and stuff like that, or even planning acts of terrorism. But for some reason, if they choose to sympathize with Hamas over ISIS, well, then that's okay. And that doesn't make any sense. I've been saying that since the pro-Hamas protests started. Heck yeah, Pickle Rick. Sounds good. What's up, John S? Happy freedom to you. Man, some people are pure evil. Absolutely. Metalmouth, his stepmom was released on $100,000 bail. Yeah. I can't believe that they gave her bond to bond out. And I don't know how she was able to afford that. There is something weird about this story. What's up, Jay Blazer? Happy freedom to you. What happened to Cheeky Chops? He's been missing for like 48 hours and something's wrong. Alright, hooligans, we're going to get into this. Let me see. Like I said, Waterbury woman accused of holding malnourished stepson captive for 20 years, which is really crazy. Now, they don't show you the guy, which is really interesting. I would like to see the condition he's in, because they describe it, saying he has rotten teeth and matted hair, and like I said, he's 5'9", but only weighs 60 pounds. Apparently, if he was double his weight, he'd still be malnourished. Like, that's how underweight he is. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick, that you should go check out the Only Hooligan shop. It was created by Alistair and is full of cool custom hooligan items that he makes himself. We will be adding more items to the Only Hooligan shop. But right now, everything that's in there is created by Alistair. We're trying to get around having third-party people involved in our merch because it affects a lot of different things. The price of stuff, the time of shipping, and all of that. So Alistair has put this together as a way for us to have cool custom hooligan items that we can ship out on time and have control over quality and things like that. So definitely go check out the Only Hooligan shop. We're going to get into this next video here. Let me get this pulled up really quick. Or as quick as YouTube will get their shit together. Dude thing. Stop buffering. You lazy bitch.
Good evening.
So annoying. So annoying. YouTube needs to get their crap together. Once again, this is titled Waterbury Woman Accused of Holding a Malnourished Stepson Captive for 20 Years. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as over on the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
Thanks so much for joining us here for the News at 5. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heideck. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. First, though, we are following a story you won't believe. Developing news out of Waterbury. A woman is accused of holding her stepson captive for 2 decades.
According to court documents, it began when he was in the 4th grade. He's now 31 years old. NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts digging into this story for us. She's live in Waterbury with the shocking details. Amanda, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Mike, Keisha, these allegations are disturbing to say the least. Kimberly Sullivan is accused of locking her stepson in a room for 20 years. That is until last month when he set a fire in that room to escape. Prosecutors say that move saved his life.
Quite frankly, the facts are something out of a horror movie, and that's without exaggeration.
A horror movie played out inside this Waterbury home for decades, according to investigators who say Kimberly Sullivan locked her stepson in a room for 20 years.
He'd been locked in that room since he was 11. He was given 2 cups of water per day. He'd been locked in there since 4th grade.
On February 17th is when prosecutors say the victim set a fire inside his 8x9 room using hand sanitizer and paper. That's when the fire department responded to the Blake Street home and found the now 31-year-old emaciated.
He lit that fire knowing he could very well die, but he'd been locked in that room for 20 years. And for 20 years, he'd been trying to get out of that room. He'd be let out less than 2 hours a day for chores under the supervision of this defendant. He'd then be locked back in that room. This victim, 31 years old, was 5'9", 68 pounds. He had a body mass index of 11%. Under 13% is life-threatening. He was in the stages of dying.
Sullivan's attorney called the accusations false and put the blame on her late husband.
He was not locked in a room. She did not restrain him in any way. She provided food. She provided shelter. She is blown away by these allegations. He was the biological father. He's the one that dictated how his son would be raised. We think as the evidence comes out, you will see that she's not the villain she's being made out to be.
Now, according to the warrant, DCF was first involved back when the victim was in the 4th grade after he kept complaining that he was always hungry. They made 2 visits to the house, according to the warrant. It's unclear, though, their involvement after those 2 visits. We did reach out to the agency for comment. As for Sullivan, her bond was set at $300,000. She's due back here in court later this month. Live in Waterbury, Amanda Pitts, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha?
Amanda, thank you.
Okay, so her bond was $300,000. What is 10% of that? $30K or $3K? Because that's all she would have had to put down. At least that's how it is here in Michigan. If you got a $1,000 bond, they want $100 and you get out. And so $300,000. I mean, she didn't have to pay the whole $300,000, but that's still a lot of money for bond. Now, like I said, I watched 3 or 4 videos on this from different news channels. They're all pretty much saying the same thing, that he was in 4th grade the last time he was in school. He was 11 years old when he was pulled out of school. He's 32 now, and the description's been all the same. He's 60-something pounds, 5'9". He has rotten teeth. He has matted hair. But it seems like he wouldn't have survived so long. They're saying that he survived on 2 sandwiches and 2 cups of water a day. That is what he was provided with. Supposedly he was locked in like a makeshift kennel of plywood and stuff like that. And there was a mother, a father, and 2 sisters in the house. The father died a year ago, and nobody did anything to stop this from happening. Now, there's people like her attorney saying, well, it's not true that she's not the bad person that everyone claims. But they also haven't made any counter arguments. Like, if it's not true, then why does he look like that? Why is he malnourished? Why did he stop going to school? What happened with CPS? CPS made 2 visits back when he was in 4th grade. They went to the house. What happened with that? There's no information on it. Everybody's just repeating the same kind of stuff over and over again. It's a very weird story. And if the mother didn't do this to him, then how did he become in this condition? Like, there's a lot of things there's a lot of holes in the story here. It's a very weird story. I assume we will have a follow-up on this. We'll have to figure out what the mother's name is. I'll have to go back and write it down just so I can remember for follow-up stuff. But like I said, I assume we will have a follow-up on this. Next up, we got Scott Jennings making CNN reporter eat her words. It's coming up next. And it'll be the last little bit of the news for the day before we get into the fun stuff. But either way, we're going to read through the chat first and see what you hooligans think about this mother that was holding her stepson captive for 21 years. Zero, if it wasn't her, she should have immediately got him in the hospital after the dad died. Well, yeah, and how come he didn't get better if the dad's been dead for a year? If it wasn't her, then why is the kid still... Or he's not a kid. Why does the dude look like that? Russell, he probably ate mice and bugs. In one of the videos I saw, they said that he would even drink from the toilet because of being thirsty and not having anything to drink. From being dehydrated, he would drink from the toilet. Cassie J, I've heard that if you want to dodge CPS, you just had to move to a different county. At least here in California, I wish they would change that rule. Yeah, Cassie J, I think there's a lot of stipulations on dealing with CPS. I mean, they used to come to our house all the time when I was a kid, but nothing ever happened. I don't even know why they were there at this point. Man, that's horrible. It is horrible. Zero, I'd be okay. Let's see. It'd be okay for him to be on SS for the rest of his life. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if he's got a 4th grade education and for 21 years that's all he knows, and he's been living like an animal in a cage, like I said, I'd like to lay eyes on the guy and see, like, what is he like at this point? You would think he'd be like a caveman. Cassie J, the bond is way too low for that woman. Yeah. 10 man to be $3K to get out. Yeah, see, and somehow she got a hold of $3K in order to get out. She's on bond right now. Right now, she's walking amongst us. It's crazy. I think it's out in Connecticut. Russell, unfortunately, he'll be broken for life. Yeah. 20 years? Yeah. I don't think he'll ever shake that. Hair juicer, in psychology class, we learned about a girl that spent her entire life strapped to a kid's potty. She was discovered at 16 and was the size of a 7-year-old. She never learned to talk, even after decades of therapy. Jeannie was her name. That's crazy, hair juicer. People are so messed up. Matt Rogers, hopefully he was drinking out of the toilet tank. It's clean water at least. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Matt Rogers. WC, there's a special place for people like her, and it's really hot. Yeah, well, they need to put her below hell. Like, she's a terrible person. Ghostly, 4th grade, no one checked in once. They said there was 2 CPS visits, but apparently nothing happened from it. This other news article said that the school called like 20 times to CPS, and CPS responded by saying they had no record of those calls. So I don't know if CPS just failed this person or what exactly happened. Pumpkin, poor guy. Yeah. Jack, the mark of Satan is on her eye. Yeah, I don't know if she has like tattooed makeup, like permanent makeup, but she had this weird like purple line on her eye. I don't know if she thought that was cute or what happened with that. What's up, Dabs? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Giggling Spy? Happy freedom to you. Jay Blazer, Connecticut? That explains some of it. I couldn't even tell you where Connecticut is on a map. I don't know anything about Connecticut. Tactical. I came across a video from Simu Gaming called I've Been Getting Death Threats. I will have to look that up, Tactical. Thank you for letting me know. Also, for you hooligans that are going to be a part of the voice chat later over on the website, let me throw all my crap. You're going to have to figure out which one of these books you want me to read tonight, because we're going to read one of them. And these are these are terrible. I don't know if you're reading these titles here. These are not kids' books. They just look like one. We're going to read one of these books during the voice chat tonight, so you hooligans have to figure out which one you're going to read. What's up, Crab Nebula? Happy freedom to you. Crab Nebula, if the father died a year ago, why wasn't he freed then? Yeah, I got a lot of questions about this. Like I said, most likely we will have a follow-up to this story, because it is a pretty crazy one. This is like borderline Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of weird. It just didn't get that far. But just imagine if they started like picking up other kids and having other kids locked in the house. If she got away with it for 20 years, like, she's a professional. I don't know. It's not good. I know that. Anyways, moving forward here, we're getting to the last little bit of the news before we start the fun stuff. This is titled Scott Jennings Making CNN Reporter Eat Her Words. All right, hooligans, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the GoofTube, and let's get into this.
Cool cars, but the president is clearly trying to do his friend, political donor, actually government employee, a pretty big favor here for his private business.
It's hardly the first time we've had cars on the South Lawn. Man, here's a video of Joe Biden driving a Jeep Rubicon around the South Lawn. I mean, it's pretty common.
And President Trump did it before in his first term as well.
It's pretty common for the President of the United States to boost American industries, American-made products, and companies that are, employing Americans. It's extremely common. He obviously has a close relationship with Elon, who, by the way, is, I think, unfairly under attack. And this company is unfairly under attack. You have these insane people all over the country chasing people down in their Teslas in New York City. I had a friend who tried to trade his Tesla in New York the other day, and there were protesters screaming at his children.
Look,
these people are unhinged,
there is some
and they deserve support from the government.
But let's be clear, let's not skirt over the fact that Elon Musk spent $250 million to elect Donald Trump.
So you're against an American company?
No, I'm asking.
You don't want the government to support this company?
Smoking the reporter on CNN right there in front of everybody. I love when that happens. The only thing better than that is when The View has to give a public apology. It's the only thing better than CNN getting roasted right there in the studio. Like I said, that is the last little bit of the news I have for you hooligans today. We're going to be getting into the fun stuff. We're going to open today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. And then we will be watching our two funny videos of the day. The first one's titled Watch Out. And our official funny video of the day is titled Good Salesmanship. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Scott Jennings making fun of CNN reporters right there to their face, calling them out. Man, I don't know how Scott Jennings does it. I've never even heard of him until I saw that clip. Matt Rogers, after the father died, he might have gone into serious depression and the mom didn't know how to handle it. It could be. Definitely could be. Zero, lay them on the floor and pick the first one that Klaus steps on. We could do that. Russell, hell, they had big rigs displayed a few years ago. Yeah. Well, they just was trying to make up reasons to be mad at President Trump because that's all they do. President Trump lives rent-free in their minds. Hey, thank you for being here, Metal Mouth. Be safe out there. WC, is that on Discord? I'm not familiar with it. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, WC, but no, we do the voice chat over on the website. Some hooligans voice chat over on the Discord, but we have an official voice chat we do every Friday after Coffee with Hooligans over on jeffmaclive.com. Trey Herder, name one government agency that isn't a failure. No, can't name one. Can't name one. High Plains Drifter, she deserves 3 days in the electric chair. I'm saying. Pickle Rig, I'm going to get a tattoo of Sailor Jerry's chick, but with the face of Jeff. I don't know what to say. I'm honored, Pickle Rig. I don't know who Sailor Jerry is, but that sounds fantastic. You will. Nah, the memes are tomorrow. That's for Free Speech Saturday. Yeah, you hooligans that are watching over on Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow is Free Speech Saturday, so we will not be live on Twitch or on YouTube. So get used to clicking that Linktree link in the description. In order to make your way over to a free speech platform, we will be live on Kick, Rumble, Jeff Mac Live, and X tomorrow. So keep that in mind. What's up, Yukon Man? Happy freedom to you. Hey, Jano, remember the electric truck that Brandon drove? I do. I don't remember him driving it because I think for some reason we didn't cover that live, but I do remember seeing clips of it. Vinny C, Connecticut's very liberal. Let's see. Did they not have protests out there? Because we covered all the damn protests during the George Floyd days, and I don't remember covering Connecticut. We might have, but I just don't remember. Go say, have you tried any more of the hot sauce? No, not yet. I haven't. I haven't really had a chance. I've been busy because my damn birthday, so everything around me expires. I had to renew my CPL, and I was approved. I got it in the mail yesterday, so I got another 5 years with a concealed pistol license. Very proud of myself. Staying out of trouble and all of that, so I can carry legally, even though I think the whole country should be Constitution carry. At least I got that. Had to replace my tags and everything else, but be trying some more hot sauce soon. What's up, Let's Go Brandon? Happy freedom to you. Bill Clay, will you leave YouTube? Crowder just announced that he will. I've kind of left YouTube for a while, but the problem is there's not much of an audience on Rumble. Most people on Rumble followed somebody else to get there. So when they're done watching that live, they leave and go right back to YouTube. So the only reason we have YouTube around is just to fish out of their pond. Their chat is plagued with Nightbot telling them to leave to go to a better platform. So really, we're just fishing out of their pond. If we end up with enough viewers over on Rumble and jeffmaclive.com, then eventually we will get rid of YouTube and probably Twitch as well. There's no reason to leave X or Kick or Rumble or the website because we don't get punished for talking over there. We get punished on YouTube and Twitch all the damn time. But as long as people are going to hold on to those communism platforms like a safety blanket, we're going to have to fish out of that pond until we get enough people elsewhere. Pickle Rick, it's not a weapon. It's an emotional support pew pew. Yeah, Pickle Rick, mine's actually a medical device. I carry it around in a case, and I let everybody know, hey, just leave my medical device alone. Because it is. It may save my life. It may save the life of others. It's a medical device. I shouldn't need a permit for it, but you know how the cops are. Oh, thank you for letting me know, Zero. I wasn't sure. Pickle Rick, it's a type of liquor. I'm gonna have to look it up. I wonder why I've never heard of that. All the damn alcoholics I've dated, I don't know how I've never heard of Sailor Jerry's. That's right, Elisa. Fuck YouTube. Agent O, Nightbot is with Cheeky. Well, I hope they're being nice, because, you know, I ain't seen Cheeky Chops in 2 days. I'm starting to worry about him. We're going to have to slap his face on a milk carton, and we're going to have to send out a hooligan search party. What's up, Bob? Happy freedom to you. I got to retake my picture in 2 years for my license to carry. My old picture looks like a hardcore mugshot. My picture is old. My picture is really old. Like from 2018 or something like that, because of the damn lockdowns and everything. So they just keep letting me renew my license, and the picture they use for my CPL is the same picture they use for the license. So I'm like 10 years younger in my picture, but you know, my teeth, they have their own thumbprint. So as soon as I smile, they're like, oh no, you're that guy. Yeah, that's me. It's beneficial having these gappy ass teeth sometimes, I suppose. What are we doing over here? You guys trying to type boobs in the... You know, you could just type boobs in the chat. You don't have to do 8008. Come on, guys. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move forward to the fun stuff here. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. And then we will be getting into our 2 funny videos of the day. But before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick. If you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that Linktree link in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Josh 17, or no, this is sent to us by Wad, excuse me. Something that's really fun about this, and I mentioned this yesterday, is the doors are not in order. I don't know if you can see the numbers or not, but they are all over the place. And it's because it's full of whiskey. So let's figure out what today is. Today is day 3. Which door is that? Oh, it's this one right here. Let's see what we get. Doo-doo-doo. Wham. Today we got... Set this down. Very nice, like. Cairo Distillery Company, Finland, malt rye. This is rye whiskey. I like the tan color it's got. Come on, camera, focus, you piece of shit. You $300 piece of shit. Cameras. They're about like cats. Anyways, thank you so much, Wad. I'm not going to taste it. You guys tricked me twice in a row to do it, okay? No peer pressure. Maybe during the voice chat. We'll see how it goes. But either way, day 3 of our advent calendar. Once again, thank you so much, Wad, for sending us the advent calendar. It's fantastic. Well, hooligans, let's go ahead and get into these funny videos here. Let's get this first one pulled up. Stoner, we need funny videos in the funny video chat stat. I had to go find these on my own, and I don't like having to do that. This first one's titled, let's go full screen. Like I said, this first one is titled, Watch Out.
Yeah.
Stupid. All right, let's get into the official funny video of the day.
I have been misgendered.
Hold up, you freakish person. Bam. This is titled, Good Salesmanship.
I have been misgendered 3 times in the past 24 hours at restaurants.
Sir, don't worry. We got you, sir. Have you ever seen such a convenient LED sign? Just put in batteries and light them up, all with a single plug. We can do different colors and fonts, and you can take it anywhere you want. Shipping takes us only 5 to 7 days to most countries. If you want to know more details about it, contact our salesperson in our bio and follow LC Sign.
Yes. That guy cracks me up. He does a lot of Trump impersonations too. Hilarious. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm going to drop this Linktree link in all of the chats. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. All right, hooligans, there is the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we've got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there, keeping the conversation going 24/7. And we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You'll also have access to Hooligans Alley, which is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums, which is to encourage open discussion. You'll have access to the arcade, which is full of games that is a ton of fun. And you will also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats that gives you the ability to text each other, call each other, video call each other, group texting, group calling, group video calling, and more. jeffmaclive.com is the place to be and the home of the hooligans. So definitely go get yourself a membership. Like I said, we're going to read through and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Zero, Senate passed the bill to avert the shutdown. Thank you for letting me know, Zero. Yeah, there's a couple Democrats that got on board with the spending bill after doing all that hooting and hollering and crying and shit. AOC made a video talking about how Democrats feel betrayed by their fellow Democrats who got on board. Schumer is one of the people who supported the bill last minute after saying he wasn't going to. And AOC says it's a slap in the face. If AOC was receiving slaps in the face, she'd behave better. But, you know, I'm just saying. Russell, got to tell Jeff how to treat his hat. Yeah, I don't know all the etiquette to cowboy hats. Russell, I'm ready for voice chat. Yep, it's coming up next. Hey, thank you for being here, Breeze by You. Have a good night as well. Matt Rogers, he's funny as hell. Yeah, the sign guy, he is funny. He has a lot of videos where he starts off with blonde hair and he's like, China, China, China. He's like imitating President Trump. Russell, a drunk man, designed that calendar. I believe it. U-Hill, they just released everyone from Gitmo? I'll have to look into that. Every illegal alien criminal in Guantanamo has been moved out, and ICE is releasing illegal alien criminals arrested by Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. Interesting. I will have to read this after the live. Thank you for letting me know, U-Hill. Thank you, Pumpkin. Appreciate you being here. Zupia, interesting. Wisconsin doesn't have our pictures on carry licenses. That's interesting, Zupia. Yeah, I don't know. Some people even use their CPL as a picture ID because it has your picture on it. So some people don't even have a driver's license. They just use their CPL. Not everyone will accept a CPL, though. Some places require it to be a driver's license. Zupia, you haven't heard of Sailor Jerry's because it isn't good. Oh, I see. Bill Clay, drink the whiskey. Come on, everyone's doing it. Maybe later. I have places to go and stuff. I don't like to drink and drive. Even if I'm under the limit, I just don't prefer to do that. What's up, Proud American? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Courtly? Happy freedom to you. Pickle Rick, it looks like your last dirty piss test. No. I mean, I don't drop clean, but I haven't had to drop in a long time. Appeal to Heaven, number 3. Try it. No, I tried the first 2. I can't just drink whiskey every day. Bill Clay, do you have your dreadlocks in your photo? No, I don't. The last time I got it updated. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. No. I don't have my ID on me. I don't think so. I don't think I had dreadlocks in my picture. Corley, open carry? Yeah, there's open carry here in Michigan, but they treat you like shit. You get caught open carrying on the west side. It's probably like this everywhere, but I can only account for what happens on the west side. But it happens all the time. People are open carrying, got a pistol on their hip, cowboy style. Officer pulls up onto the sidewalk, opens the door, holds you at gunpoint, makes you get down on your face. If you don't die in the situation, then you'll go to jail and you'll sit there for a while, and the magistrate will go through your records and they'll figure out if you're legally allowed to open carry or not. And then after a couple days or a couple weeks or whenever they get around to dealing with you, then they'll decide you were within your legal right to open carry and they'll let you go. But then tomorrow when you're out there open carrying, yeah, they're going to hop the curb again. They're going to pull up on you at gunpoint and make you get down on your face. So there's no point in open carrying in Michigan just because of that, because the police are too damn stupid here. But you have the right to do it. Ghostly, it's not drinking and driving if you only drink at the red lights. Yeah, I don't make bad choices, though. I made a lot of bad choices when I was younger, and I was lucky enough to survive it. So now I try to think before I do anything. Appeal to Heaven. No, I know. I know it's fine to have a drink a day. It's good for your heart and all that stuff, but it's not good for the breathalyzer test. What's up, DeRosa? Happy freedom to you. DeRosa sign language. Yes. What's up, Murdercom? Happy freedom. Ads can be... Let's see. Ads be so cancerous on Twitch. But how y'all doing? Yeah, the ads on Twitch are terrible. They used to be all about vaccines. Showing some gigantic pregnant woman like this. She's like rubbing her gut. She's like, I got vaccinated for my baby. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. It's going to come out half a lizard person. Vinny, a shot a day keeps the doctor away. That's what they say. You got man, yeah, the sign guy. He is hilarious. I follow him on TikTok. All right, hooligans. It is that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. My sinuses is kicking my ass right now. At least wait till the end. Anyways, we're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind. But we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Free Speech Saturdays, Coffee with Hooligans. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we will not be live on YouTube or Twitch because their community guidelines over there sucks. So you are welcome to use the Linktree link in the description to make your way to a better platform. Now, you do not have to make an account if you don't want to. You can still watch a live on these other platforms, but if you want to participate in the chat, you're going to have to make an account. We will be live on Kick, Rumble, jeffmaclive.com, as well as X. No Twitch or YouTube tomorrow, so if you are holding on to Twitch or YouTube, we will see you on Monday. But for everybody else, we will be live tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Free Speech Saturdays, Coffee with Hooligans. Like I said, we're going to read through the chat one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, and we're wrapping this up. Hey, thanks for being here, Hair Juicer. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Hill. Love you too. Zero, does that apply to people visiting Michigan or just residents? I don't know, Zero. I don't know how open carry works in Michigan. I know that if you live here, you can do it, but I don't know about if you're visiting. I assume you'd be okay if you were visiting because that's how the dispensaries work. If you come here and you're older than 21, you can go in the dispensary and buy weed. You don't have to be a resident of Michigan to do that. So I assume you could conceal carry, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. Thank you, Cassie J. Appreciate you being here. Appeal to Heaven. You have a great day as well, Bill Clay. Thank you for being here. Much love to you, Pumpkin. WC. Yeah, Klaus Daniels. I know. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Thank you, Pickle Rick. Appreciate you. You be safe as well, Courtly. Those crazies, they're out there. They're angry and cutting their wieners off. That's right, Nana. Play ball. Appeal to Heaven breathalyzer test goes to 0 if you eat peanut butter straight. Really? I didn't know that. I've always been told to keep a bottle of mouthwash in my car. And then if you have to take a breathalyzer, like you get pulled over, you hit the mouthwash. And if you do a breathalyzer, you'll blow it off the charts. And then they'll have to wait for you to be able to blow. They'll have to wait for the mouthwash to go away. And hopefully you'll sober up a little bit. Like I told you, I used to date a bunch of drunks. Bunch of alcoholic women. I've learned. You don't do that. It's not the way to be. Hey, thank you for being here, Janet, and God bless you. Thank you, Viola. Hey, thank you for being here, Magic Moon. All right, hooligans, I think we're good to go. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Free Speech Saturday. No White House on the weekends. If President Trump does decide to go live, we will try and cover it, but generally there's no lives from the White House on the weekends. But either way, it is Free Speech Saturday once again. So no Twitch, no YouTube. Just use the Linktree link. All of the links are listed at the very top of the list. It's not that difficult. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Free Speech Saturdays, Coffee with Hooligans. If I don't, I will see you Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Coffee with Hooligans, and we will be watching for Caroline Leavitt in case there is a press briefing, and we'll also be watching President Trump's public schedule in case he decides to go live on Monday. But for everybody else, I better see your asses here tomorrow for Free Speech Saturday. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're not joining us in the voice chat later, go enjoy your Friday. It's nice out for most of the country. And a lot of us have been living through winter apocalypse. That snow apocalypse has been kicking our ass. So go enjoy the nice weather. Go find you some good food. And thank you, hooligans, for being here. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support. And I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.